800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
Don't miss an NL East weekend matchup when the Phillies welcome the Nationals to South Philly on Friday, June 30th at 6:05, Saturday, July 1st at 4:05, and Sunday, July 2nd at 1:35. Visit Phillies.com to order tickets now. It's all gas, no brakes on Saturday, July 1st when the Phils host the Nats at 4:05, followed by a post-game concert featuring Diesel, a.k.a. Shaq. It's another fun Phillies post-game concert presented by Jim Beam. Order tickets now at Phillies.com.
It's Jeep 4x4 season. Make your next adventure epic and hurry in now for great deals. And now well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE for $349 a month for 24 months with $5,399 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 20,000. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 7/5/23. Jeep is a registered trademark.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Monday, June 26th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always live on the free Odyssey app and streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube. As we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210. The phone number, Twitter, and Instagram. The radio station at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick.
Great weekend. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It was actually a slow weekend. Like, I had a great weekend, and it went really slow. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It was a really good thing. Got 2 rounds of golf in, and Sunday not as good as Saturday. We can get to those details later, not that anybody cares. Gregory, how are you?
You know, you're the big topic of conversation at my house over this weekend. You, Nick Kayal, were.
Oh, boy.
My family was taking bets on if you can finish a 65-mile bike ride. And by the way, nobody thinks you can.
Okay.
So
no is a healthy favorite.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Amongst the Stalker family,
yeah,
nobody has a lot of faith in you.
So Dylan threw a 5-spot down on a no.
Uh-oh.
Even Dylan knows.
No. I mean my immediate family.
Okay. Oh.
Dylan, throw the mac and cheese on the floor if you think that Nick Kayal won't make it.
You're probably right. Wager on the no.
Have you trained at all this weekend?
This weekend, no.
Oh boy,
I did not.
I mean, what do you wait? You're a month out.
I know.
Less than a month out.
It's like final exams. I'm going to wait till the last minute.
Yeah,
and I'm going to cram. I'm going to go right out like a week before and do 10 miles, and then 3 days before do 20 miles, and then I'll be like, you know what? I got this. Just don't forget, I played high school football.
Oh, all right, out Monday.
We got a lot of good stuff to get to this morning. We have pride parades, possible undercover feds as antagonists, push-ups for president, Bears being killed by Carson. We got all sorts of good stuff this morning, including a big take on parental extremism. I will explain coming up shortly. But before we get to all of that, let's get to the news. Let's get to all the pertinent stuff going on. And for that, at 6:05 for round one, we say good morning to Dawn Stensland.
And good morning. This Monday morning, June 26th, we are sponsored this morning by Piazza Auto Group. So we do have a teenager in critical condition among those injured after 2 people in total were injured or hospitalized after a shooting that happened over the weekend yesterday when a drive-by shooter just fired randomly into a crowd of hundreds of people in Fairmount Park. So this is according to Philadelphia police. They say that Sunday there were 200 to 300 teenagers who were all gathering at the Belmont Plateau. This is Belmont Park Drive in Fairmount Park, of course, when this dark-colored vehicle, a sedan, pulls up to the group. Somebody in the car tells the group to disperse before they open fire on this entire crowd. So we're told by Philadelphia police 200 to possibly 300 plus teenagers and kids were out there in the park. And so they were enjoying the evening, Saturday evening or late Saturday. This went into Sunday morning, early Sunday morning. We're told by police that a 19-year-old girl and a 20-year-old man were among those both hit in the shooting. And the 19-year-old is the one who she was shot in the chest and in her back. Wow. And she's listed in critical condition this morning.
You know, you think about that. You have somebody that opens fire into a crowd of 200 to 300 people. I mean, how does that not get headlines as mass shooting in Philadelphia?
Yeah, one would think.
Right?
Yeah, and we don't have the motive. Like I say, there were witnesses who said somebody pulled up and told the crowd to disperse, but we don't, that's what police are going on here. Okay. But nothing else.
Right.
Nothing at all.
I guess you got to fit certain criteria for it to be a mass shooting. And obviously there's, certain parameters. But I mean, geez, 200-300 people, somebody opens a fire. Sounds like a mass shooting to me on its face. But
yeah, and that's what strikes me this morning as we think about one of the big lead stories this morning is everybody's talking about something good that happened yesterday in Philadelphia. And of course, that was Governor Josh Shapiro was in South Philadelphia to thank everybody, to thank the men and the women who worked 24/7 to get that collapsed portion of I-95 reopened for the temporary fix while they work on the permanent fix, which is a good thing. But you contrast these two stories. Imagine anywhere else if more than 300 teens and kids were fired upon anywhere else in the area. I would think that would be a bigger story.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm not hearing from parents. I don't have the 19-year-old who's fighting for her life right now in the hospital. I don't have her identity. We don't know much about her, but just that kids were celebrating end of school, et cetera. We don't know if it was a graduation party. And we're obviously covering this for you, and it's very concerning in Philadelphia. Other, big headlines, the Coast Guard has opened what it now calls a formal investigation into the submersible implosion of the Titan. Of course, we talked about it all last week, that those deep sea robots are scanning the bottom of the ocean, hoping to recovering more parts of the Titan sub. And of course, any remains of the 4 men and the 19-year-old who was with his father, who died presumably in that implosion. So we're watching that one as well. And of course, what happened in Russia? Russia for real. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu made his first public appearance since that mercenary uprising demanding his ouster and inspecting troops in Ukraine this morning. This was a video released by his ministry. So the first of 3 powerful Russian leaders whose diverging interests, we're told, led to the Wagner Group occupying a Russian city, marching on the capital to be seen since the revolt ended Saturday.
I wonder how that makes Americans feel, knowing that this uprising could actually maybe end the Putin-Russia invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, we just as a nation keep giving billions upon billions of dollars to Ukraine.
Yeah, I think the Biden administration is busy to point out, see, the weaknesses in Russian President Vladimir Putin's regime are being, this is Biden pumping money, and Biden gets the credit for weakening Russia.
See, I was doing more of a cost-effective analysis here. Uprising with Wagner, or $6.2 billion, $1.3 billion. Accounting error. Here's an extra $4 billion.
It's all chump change.
Yeah, I guess so.
By the way, Russian President Vladimir Putin has not made any public appearances either, so we'll point that out. And so we're following that very carefully this morning. Obviously, it's something that happened since we last left you on Friday, right? Our Phils, well, let's talk about our Phillies win in this major comeback, 7-6. And it kind of was maybe a precursor to the storms that are headed our way. And that's one of the big stories today as far as the stormy weather headed our way. But it started out sunny yesterday afternoon, as you know, then turned ominous right in the 8th inning. Temperature dropped, the clouds moved in, everyone said, ruh-roh, and maybe a metaphor of some sort. Phillies team that, has kind of struggled and stumbled. We've talked a lot about what's going on, but facing the Mets, ultimately, the Phils mounted this dramatic rally in the bottom of the 8th, scoring 4 times to beat New York Mets, 7-6.
How does that sound?
Sounds great.
So very nice.
And by the way, when I got done golfing yesterday with Opelka and Dom, put the golf clubs in the bed of the truck, driving home, 10 minutes before I got home, the earth opened up with those monsoon downpour, and my golf clubs absolutely got ravaged by the rain. They were in the bed of my truck. My bed is not covered.
Never forget.
Yes.
I mean,
never forget.
How do you even?
So,
wow.
So there was my weather experience.
Oh man.
Sorry to interrupt your upcoming weather, Dawn.
But golf clubs are not exactly.
No, they'll be fine.
But
I'm just sitting there on the blue route as traffic came to a complete, stoppage.
Yes.
And the earth opened up, and I looked back in the back of my bed, and the golf clubs.
Gotta dry them out.
Yep.
Wipe them off.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
We got a lot going on in sports. College World Series. Florida rolls to beat LSU 24-4, and let us not forget the NASCAR Cup Series victory with Ross Chastain holding off Martin Truex Jr., winning the 400 at Nashville Superspeedway last night. So this is Chastain's 3rd career NASCAR Cup Series.
Look at you working in a NASCAR event here.
I know, I love NASCAR.
Dawn talking racing on a Monday. I like
baby.
it.
We love racing. And speaking of racing, Piazza Auto Group. Don't race, though. Visit Piazza Volkswagen of Ardmore, Langhorne. Test drive that 2023 Volkswagen Atlas, Atlas Cross Sport, Tiguan, and much more. You can always shop online. PiazzaVW.com today. We thank the Piazza Auto Group for being our sponsor. And the NBC 10 First Alert Forecast, beware, because if you thought yesterday was bad, we could face some very serious storms this evening and into the night. So it looks like we'll get some spattering of showers and storms during the day today. However, this evening, we're looking at hail, severe storms, high winds, watching this very carefully with many alerts out there. So be aware. That's the NBC 10 First Alert Forecast. And this is your first Monday morning edition, Kayal & Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:13 on this Monday morning as we kick off another week with another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal & Company.
Today's Big Take, parental extremism, how the left has weaponized parenting. If your child fell into a pool, you would dive in after them and prevent them from drowning. You rescued your child, you saved their life, the entire world would sing your praises. If your kid wasn't paying attention and wandered into the street, you would run after them to make sure they didn't get hit by a car, even if it meant jumping in front of the car yourself. Everyone would acknowledge you for the selfless act of heroism. And if a dog got out of a fenced-in yard and came aggressively towards your toddler, you would do anything to prevent that dog from injuring or possibly killing your son or daughter. It would be a heroic act. But being a mom today and deciding to stand up for your child, in today's left-wing Looney Tune world of parenting, you are labeled and viewed as a far-right extremist. It is parental extremism, according to the left and mainstream media. And that's exactly what Moms for Liberty is dealing with in today's educational climate. Hell, you don't even need to be a member of Moms for Liberty to be attacked. You just need to be a conservative, perhaps a Republican, or dare I even say a vested parent in the future of your child's life. Common sense be damned, you will be destroyed by the left. If it's not liberal parents, it's progressive parents. If it's not Democrats, it's the teachers union. If it's not social media, it's the mainstream media. I saw a tweet from MSNBC this weekend, and the headline to the attached story read as follows, quote, Moms for Liberty has built a reputation of its own as a far-right extremist group, writes Jahan Jones. I clicked on his Twitter profile and his bio says he is a, quote, writer and maker of things at the readout. So he is a writer and maker of things for Joy Reid. So you know he's a nut job. But let's listen to MSNBC Village idiot Joy Reid oversell what allegedly happened in a Republican-led San Francisco anti-trans parental rights night. Take a listen.
Over a week ago, Soleil Ho, an opinion columnist and cultural critic for the San Francisco Chronicle, walked into a parental rights night event hosted by San Francisco Republicans. What Soleil saw was so horrifying, mean, and vile, they went straight home and threw up. The event was billed as an attempt at, quote, detangling the transgender narrative surrounding our children, unquote, and was filled with gross attacks and misinformation. Speakers claimed that gender affirmation, which is basically just acknowledging what a child is telling you they're feeling inside, is a cloaked system of eugenics. They accused parents of allowing their kids to be sterilized and insisted that most of these kids have mental illness.
Yikes. First of all, I did not know Republicans still existed in the Bay Area. Secondly, cultural critic for the San Francisco Chronicle. What I saw was so mean. It was horrifying. It was vile. I had to go home and puke in the toilet. Gross attacks, misinformation. Did you pick up on all the buzzwords there? All of them, baby. All the buzzwords coming right there from Joy Reid and her writing staff. The cloaked system. You've got to love Joy Reid, right? You got to love MSNBC and these woke clowns. But there was one thing correctly stated, and they mentioned mental illness. Well, that's because there's only two genders. And when you have gender transitioning surgery, there's only two genders you can choose to have performed on you for your desired outcome. Anything else is merely a fantasy. It's la la land. But let's get back to Jahan Jones and his writing, if that's what you want to call it. After all, it's a column that added up to a grand total of 13 sentences, not 13 paragraphs, 13 sentences. Mr. Jones goes on to say, quote, Moms for Liberty, the shadowy right-wing group whose members fashion themselves as fierce mama bear types, is yet again facing controversy over extremist ideology in its ranks. An Indiana chapter of the organization issued an apology on Thursday after a recent letter was sent to its members, including a quote attributed to Adolf Hitler. NBC News reported the Hamilton County chapter of Moms for Liberty quoted Hitler's remarks at a 1935 rally. The quote that they used was, "He alone who owns the youth gains the future." So let me just react to what I just read there. Now, if I didn't tell you that was a Hitler quote, and nobody is remotely condoning anything ever said or done by that evil you-know-what, but you would probably think and arrive at a logical conclusion that that quote is precisely what left-wing indoctrination over education is all about at our schools in today's climate. They're all about grooming the next wave of left-wingers. That's what this is about. That's why the right pushes back against it. But let's return to Mr. Jones' column. After the Indianapolis Star reported the quote on Wednesday, the Moms for Liberty chapter revised the newsletter, adding additional context that noted the quote from this, quote, horrific leader should put parents on alert. If the government has control over our children today, they control our country's future, the group wrote in its updated newsletter. So you have this article, and man, it's such an in-depth and insightful column. I hope Jahan is not being paid on a pay-per-click basis. I almost gave you about 80% of the column right there with just 2 or 3 excerpts. But here's the deal with parents, kids, and schools. Enough of the ideology, and how about focusing on the education and overall well-being? Here's 3 stories about the 2 topics I just mentioned that the left doesn't want to acknowledge. Headline number 1, shocking CDC statistics reveal extent of mental health crisis amongst children in U.S. Here's an excerpt. Dismal numbers released Tuesday by the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics indicate that 15% of America's children, ages 5 to 17, recently received treatment for mental health conditions in 2021, raising concerns about the depth of the country's ever-expanding mental health crisis. Adolescents showed the worst numbers in the data brief, with 18.9% of children aged 12 to 17 receiving treatment, including therapy and counseling or prescription medication. And amongst female teenagers, these numbers are staggering. I want you to listen and think about this for a second. Amongst female teenagers, 57% are persistently sad. 30% have considered suicide. 24% have planned suicide. And 13% have attempted suicide. The second headline is from the New York Post. Quote, number of teens who don't enjoy life has doubled with social media. The study looks at depressive symptoms of 8th, 10th, and 12th graders in high school. And those numbers have gone up roughly from 25% all the way to almost 50% since 2010, which many would say was the boom of the social media era. And three categories or trains of thought were characterized in the following three descriptions. Teenagers saying, I can't do anything right. Teenagers saying, my life is not useful. And teenagers saying, I do not enjoy my life. And guess what? Those numbers have skyrocketed since 2020. Geez, I wonder why. You know, when teachers were not teaching, kids were not in school, and parents just let their children waste away their days on social media apps. And then the last story is about actual measurables in the classroom. Headline, math and reading scores for young teenagers at lowest level in decades thanks to COVID school closures. Test scores released last Wednesday from the National Assessment of Educational Progress showed that math and reading scores from 13-year-olds have hit the lowest level in decades. According to the New York Times, the last time math was performance rated this low for 13-year-olds occurred in 1990. That's 33 years ago. Reading scores haven't been this low since 2004. That's almost a 2-decade low. And you know it's undeniable when the New York Times can't deny it and they're forced to cover it. So let's quit wasting our time with name tags that display our pronouns. Let's stop with the you can go into whatever bathroom you would like nonsense. And let's put an end to all the gender identity mumbo jumbo. And schools and parents and teachers get back to what matters most. Educating our children so the future of tomorrow isn't flooded with identity crises, mental health breakdowns, and even more, perhaps, tragic outcomes. And if that's extreme, and that's extreme parenting, well, then so be it. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take on this Monday morning. If you want to jump in, 855-839-1210, the phone number, 855-839-1210. You can get in on social media at 1210 WPHT, or, of course, be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. Got to tell you about my good friends at the Piazza Auto Group, Piazza Honda in Springfield. That's where I got my lease, 36 months on the brand new 2023 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition. And really, this is a luxurious truck that is very economical. 6-cylinder, plenty of horsepower, plenty of torque. It is really a smooth ride. It's like a big SUV, but with a truck bed for you to put your golf clubs in as it opens up and starts to pour and they get all wet. But the thing that you want to take advantage of right now, because it's going to expire on July 5th, is 0.9% APR financing. That's right. Up until July 5th, which is next Wednesday, you can get 0.9% APR financing at Piazza Honda and all of their other dealerships today. That's 17 different locations, 35 different brands. Check them out online, piazzaautogroup.com.
We wanted to let you know why you should switch to DuckDuckGo by explaining how they work versus Google Search and Chrome. DuckDuckGo is a browser like Google Chrome, but it's a private browser that blocks trackers, so it helps stop creepy ads following you online. It comes with DuckDuckGo Private Search, which is a search engine like Google, but doesn't spy on your searches. And there's no catch. It's free. DuckDuckGo makes money from ads, but not the creepy kind. If you search for a car, you see a car ad. That's it. Join the tens of millions of people taking back control of their online privacy and download DuckDuckGo from the App Store, Play Store, or DuckDuckGo.com today.
Hi,
everyone, this is Stephanie Kelly from Emmons Roofing and Siding, and I have some exciting news to share. Emmons has partnered with SunPower, the top-rated home solar company in New Jersey. SunPower has been leading the solar industry for over 37 years and is the only U.S. solar company that's lasted longer than their 25-year warranty. Kill the bill. The energy bill, that is. Imagine no more high energy bills, while all the while helping reduce your carbon footprint at no cost to you. It's a win-win. Yes, we now offer solar, but remember, if you need a new roof, siding, doors, windows, or interior remodeling, don't wait. Right now, Emmons is offering all 1210 listeners 10% off roofing, siding, and Anderson windows. And we are continuing to offer 12-month same-as cash financing. And don't forget that lifetime warranty on your roof. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 856-885-6677, emmonsroofing.com. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, kitchens, baths, and solar. Trust Emmons to be your first and last stop for all your home improvement needs. emmonsroofing.com.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra, Saturday, July 22nd at Wildwood Catholic High School.
I loved it. I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure I'd like it, but I'll tell you, I'm glad I came. Best ever.
He reinvented himself. It was really good, man.
The music, the singing, everything. You laugh, you tear it up.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra, Saturday, July 22nd at Wildwood Catholic High School, 15th and Central Avenue, North Wildwood. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
joeconklin.com! Don't miss Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor, Saturday afternoons at 5. Tune in for accurate information so you can make the right medical decisions. Your radio doctor, Dr. Marianne Ritchie, Saturday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I want to tell you about my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz of the Bentz Group in East Norriton. I've always enjoyed talking to his staff and patients, and it drives home a big point. Dr. Bentz is a problem solver. People come from all over. Other dentists refer their tougher cases to Dr. Bentz. Whatever your issues are, Dr. Bentz is going to develop a custom plan for your long-term oral health. And yes, give you that smile you've always dreamed of. Plus, if you or a family member have been avoiding going to the dentist due to fear or anxiety, even if it's been years, Dr. Bentz offers sedation dentistry to make your visit a pleasant experience. So if you've been putting off a nagging minor problem, take care of it now before it gets worse. From routine care to dental implants, on-site digital lab, great staff, they'll make the visit the most comfortable and convenient possible. Get the oral care you need and deserve and that beautiful smile that you've always wanted. Visit thebentzdentalgroup.com. Book that appointment today, bentzdentalgroup.com or 610-272-6949.
You're invited to a private showing of the most important movie you'll see in retirement. The Baby Boomer Dilemma is a groundbreaking documentary from award-winning director Doug Orchard. Throughout the film, Nobel Prize winners, PhDs, and esteemed economists expose the cracks in the financial industry that have 401ks, IRAs, Social Security, and other retirement plans on the brink of collapse. After the movie, you'll receive an education that's unlike any other. Learn how to apply the solutions presented by these experts, which align with and validate our proprietary crash-proof retirement system, proven by over 5,000 consumers. Register for this complimentary screening at Springfield Country Club on June 28th, and let Crash-Proof Retirement provide you the crucial information you need to avoid the baby boomer dilemma that's on the horizon. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
Another week is upon us as we welcome everybody back in. Kayal and Company on this Monday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick, Dawn, Greg, Daniel, and Anthony. Always get us on the free Odyssey app. You can watch us on YouTube. You never know what'll pop up on the YouTube video graphics. You might see Chris Christie sleeping, a construction camera. Who knows? That's the beauty of having multiple ways to consume this show. Still ahead this hour, big weekend for Donald Trump in the books. Another presidential candidate is apparently jacked beyond belief, and that's why he should be elected, because he can do push-ups and do bench presses. We'll get to that story as we continue. And also, we put a bow on Pride Month this week. How about that? The month of June almost in the books. And you could argue it was a big month for conservatives and fighting back and pushing back against the incessant need to just go overboard for one segment of the population. But before we get to all of that, I just want to get thoughts, reaction to the story of the day for me, at least with the big take coming off of this weekend. And I know, Dawn, you have talked about this a lot. Moms for Liberty, of course, Meg Brock. And I just saw this. I was legitimately going to golf Saturday morning, and we had like a little bit of a weather delay. So I was just sitting on my phone in my golf cart, and I saw this MSNBC story about how this basically like a producer or writer that works on Joy Reid's staff writes, it was 13 sentences. It wasn't even a story. It was like a blog. No disrespect to all the bloggers out there. And he took one quote that I do think it's kind of a poor choice of a source of a quote that you want to use. You could probably find something not connected to Adolf Hitler, because that kind of just gives the left all the ammunition they need to make a big mountain out of a little molehill. But that story and everything that moms are dealing with in really, which I think is nothing more than fighting back against, the rush to sexualize children and really make them to be like the future of the left wing. Like, we need to eliminate that from schools. And that's why I wanted to bring up some of those stats from the CDC on the mental health front, but also the scores for math and reading. Like, can we get back to what matters in schools? Like what we pay you to do? And that's kind of teach our kids so they can be smarter. I don't know.
Yeah, this is all about, and I updated this on Friday morning, actually, because they came out immediately. This was an Indiana little local county chapter that put a quote in that didn't mention Hitler, didn't talk anything about that, but said the quote that you had mentioned.
Okay.
They put this out on a Facebook. And so to me, this is how much the partisan politicians and Democrats are watching and monitoring this group. And so that is, and they immediately went out, and I don't know who wrote that. Maybe they were trying to point out that the Democrats, maybe they were equating the Democrats with Hitler trying to indoctrinate children in schools. But here's the thing. If I were advising them, I have to say, and this is not my nature, but I would have said push back hard.
Yeah.
Say, oh, you know what? Somebody in the Indiana County chapter was equating Democrats with a Nazi Hitler-like strategy.
Sure.
And, you have to push back. I'm sorry, but you have to push back hard, because what they did, which was honest, they immediately apologized and said, whatever happened in that county Facebook posting, they didn't realize, and we condemn Hitler. He's evil. This is a dark place in our history. Obviously, these are moms. But instead, they go, oh, they're a bunch of Nazi moms. Everywhere you see, all through the weekend, oh, they're Nazi moms. No, they're not.
Yeah.
And that's why, unfortunately, that's the creation that Donald Trump was. That's what created Donald Trump. And he did not emerge in 2016 as POTUS because of, oh, well, here I am. I was a big celebrity on NBC. That's not how that happened.
Right.
This kind of thing is exactly how it happened. And I know these moms. They're across Chester County, Bucks County, Philadelphia County, and which one didn't I say? Delaware County. These are regular, ordinary moms, many of whom have told me, Dawn, I've never even been political. My husband's more political than me. Now they're like activated.
Well, and that's the thing that bothers me is now, because why do we have to politicize children. Can't we just, here's a crazy radical concept. Can't we just have kids be kids?
No, because Democrats want to indoctrinate these kids starting at a very young age. And not just the weird piece of this, it's not even just about politics.
Right. Well,
that would be mild compared to some of this stuff.
So the Democrats start this, and then the Republicans fire back, and then the Republicans, as always, get labeled to be the bad guys.
Yeah.
It's not like the Republicans are sitting here grooming kids to be right-wingers, and then the left is fighting back. Yeah. It's the complete opposite, and then Republicans get called out.
And I reported this last week, Kathy Barnett is doing the prayer, the first opening prayer on Friday morning, this Friday, as locally, Kathy Barnett, former U.S. Senate candidate, local Montgomery County mom, and this media, national media, the fact that we in Philadelphia are hosting this conference with all these moms from across the country, they are losing their minds. And that's what this is. It's all about POTUS 2024 because why? I mean, they invited Biden. They invited everybody. So Biden is not going, but RFK Jr. is going to be here. Trump is going to be here. DeSantis is going to be here. Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be here. They're all going to be here this weekend. The fear of these Democrats that, ruh-roh, as Scooby-Doo would say, moms are now organizing in this grassroots organization, and moms are upset, and moms are coming together, and suburban moms from across the country, we've activated them, we got to shut them down.
Yep.
So now the Museum of the American Revolution, and we've held events there before, they're holding one of the first events, and now they're facing all this pressure to cancel the event.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, no, we're inclusive. I mean, good for them. But this stuff makes my blood boil. And if you care anything, if you're listening right now and you care about, especially about conservative women, you've got to move forward. Contact the Museum of the American Revolution.
Yep.
Just write to them, please, and say, hey, good for you that you're welcoming local moms from across the country. And this is a shame that they're being wrongfully criticized. Love you guys. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Please, if you're listening right now, just shoot them an email and just thank them for, just for being fair and equal and not faltering under media pressure.
Well said. 855-839-1210. And speaking of not falling down and falling by the wayside to media pressure, we put the bow on another month of Pride Month this week, the final week of Pride Week. And I think conservatives showed that when they get fired up and they say enough is enough and we're not going to be passive aggressive or we're not just going to lay low, we're going to fight back, conservatives can be successful because as we look now, here are the victories for conservatives, depending on how you want to measure it, for the last 3.5 weeks. We know Bud Light has lost over $27 billion since their Dylan Mulvaney ad, and apparently they don't care about that because Bud Light was rolling out one of their big beer trucks this past weekend at another Pride event. And we'll get to the Seattle Pride event as well as the New York City March from this past weekend coming up later in the show. But Target lost $15 billion in market cap since the Pride boycott began. Disney has now lost $890 million at the box office on their last 8 releases. And this past weekend, going into the weekend on Friday, the NHL has now banned LGBTQ team warm-up jerseys. I think conservatives have pushed back to the point where a lot of corporations and commissioners of sports leagues are like, this is kind of a distraction. Maybe we should take it under advisement and not make it like a mandate. Let's not have this mandatory and let it be optional on certain nights for the players that would like to participate in it. Let's take a listen. This is the commissioner of the National Hockey League, Gary Bettman, who's in charge of the league, obviously of the Philadelphia Flyers and all the other teams in the National Hockey League, talking about getting rid of Pride jerseys next year as mandatory warm-ups for next season. Take a listen.
Commissioner, first of all, I understand there was a decision made on the Pride jerseys in warm-up today at Board of Governors.
Well, actually, I've suggested that it would be appropriate for clubs not to change their jerseys in warm-ups because it's become a distraction and taking away from the fact that all of our clubs in some form or another, host nights in honor of various groups or causes, and we'd rather they continue to get the appropriate attention that they deserve and not be a distraction.
Gary Bettman in a Sportsnet interview with Elliot Friedman. It's really fascinating to see the pushback for this. We talked about it here locally with Philadelphia, well, a former Philadelphia Flyer now because he's since been traded, Ivan Provorov, where you had a lot of players that came out, and whether they really are religious or not, or they use that as an excuse not to wear it, and, you go of the belief of, well, if I claim religion, nobody will come after me. Although they still came after guys like that for citing religion, whether it was right or a total fabrication. You had guys that said, I'm not going to be forced into wearing something that I'm not comfortable with wearing. And of course, the left will say, well, you're transphobic, you're homophobic, you're against the pride community, you're against the LGBTQ, the whole bit. But now I think we've kind of run its course. And I would be interested a year from now to see next June what companies jump aboard this and which companies and or sports leagues kind of just pick and choose and stay out of it, or at least make it optional. Like the forced warm-up jerseys where all 22 players on the ice at 6:30 have to wear that jersey. Kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah, and I
As
think
somebody who's anti-mandate.
Yeah, and I think when did this start? It started when they did fundraising for, hey, we're gonna celebrate a kid who did some great things in his high school. We're gonna celebrate autism, funding, or we're gonna celebrate, that sort of thing. That's how I believe that this all started, where they'd have a special night. So I think they're smart, first of all, to say, hey, let's leave it to the local municipalities to celebrate the various communities, and the jersey things becomes a distraction. But we know the truth is that the fan base as well. I mean, look at what happened with, you had talked about what happened with the Dodgers, right, in L.A.
Yeah, where they were mocking the Catholic nuns.
And we see how well that goes over.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that it's a smart business decision to say, we'll leave it to the local teams. Let's not have the distraction, But I also
it's caused by where the distraction comes from. It's not the players. It's the media that loses their mind over a player not wanting to wear it.
Well, think about what you had talked about Provorov at the time, and there were questions that he was traded because of this. I don't know if that's true or not. That was raised at the time, but I mean, imagine you're a team in there, and then they're booing you because you did or didn't wear a jersey. It really is a distraction to me, ultimately. But to your point, to force somebody to wear something on their jersey that they really don't feel, whatever their religious beliefs, or maybe they just feel it's not the right focus.
Yeah,
I think they're wise to just say, hey, if you want to wear the month, whether it's Black History Month or whether it's Pride Month or what have you, that's optional. I think it's a good business decision.
I agree. And from a family standpoint as well, which is also why Disney's lost almost $900 million on their movies, because of the sexualization of their content. They've got so many movies at The Little Mermaid, this movie, that movie, that has this, sexual connotations and stuff to it. When you're a family and you say, hey, Mom, Dad, can we go to a Flyers game or whatever? Or the dad says, hey, what do you guys think about a Friday night hockey night? I mean, you want to go there and have fun with your family, watch sports, and be entertained. Not told and lectured as to what's acceptable, what's not, who's included, who's not included. Yeah. It's once again, it's like you have the separation of powers. It's the separation of, can we just leave this stuff in the area it's supposed to stay in? It doesn't need to be forced on you in Disney, at movies, and in all the family settings. It's like, I'm trying to take my family out for a night out and get away from the craziness of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not have it like shoved back down my gullet again.
Yeah.
For that 3 hours, where by the way, I'm spending an exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah.
To watch guys play sports.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And who hijacked the LG? Remember when LGBTQ plus IA plus was just LG?
Yeah.
It somehow their movement got hijacked because all they wanted was just, hey, we want to be free, we want to be equal, we want liberty.
Sure.
And it's fascinating to me that, for example, on Fox and on these conservative stations, you actually have, I think, more representation in that community than a lot of the other channels, quite frankly. But now this is a whole different thing. It's not, hey, it's not, I just want to be equal and fair and enjoy the freedoms of America.
Mm-hmm.
It's something more. It's you will wear
Right.
my rainbow.
Yeah.
And you will shut up about it.
You talk about the hijacking of all the extra letters and symbols.
Yes.
It's like when your kid gets your phone and all of a sudden your kid starts typing in all these random letters and numbers and text somebody and you're like, oh, sorry, my kid had my phone. Disregard that text. And you're like, yeah, it didn't make any sense anyway. Figured it wasn't you. 855-839-1210. All right, let's talk president on the other side. Joe Biden could be junk fee Joe. Trump's lead for the GOP continues to grow. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but RFK Jr.'s in pretty good shape. And that should be all that matters, right? We'll get to that story when we come back. Kayal and Company here on a Monday, Talk Radio 1210.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. Do you have water on your property, soggy yard, sinking hardscape, pool liner floating? Garden State Earthworks is your drainage solution. 856-848-4444 or gardenstateearthworks.com.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hit a home run of a deal with this summer's sales event going on right now at Winter Ford of Cherry Hill. Get up to $1,500 off all in-stock F-150 trucks. Not interested in a truck? Get a Grand Slam deal with 0% interest rates and up to $3,500 off select Ford models. Call 800-428-4000 for offer details. Visit in person or online at winterford.com. Winter Ford, people you trust, service and value you'll love.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com. Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
Here's an incredible opportunity for those on the doorstep of retirement. Save up to 40% on your auto insurance. That's right, 40%. How? Contact Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate, not an insurance company, which means they get you the right coverage for the right money. As an official partner of Roadmap to Retirement, their objective is to save you money, not reduce coverage. Call Fran or call Jim, managing partners of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or get a free quote at dvigi.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Parks Casino and Sportsbook is the best place for a night out and the only casino and sportsbook I ever recommend. As you know, summer brings the hottest entertainment to the state-of-the-art X-Site Center inside Parks Casino and Sportsbook. Don't miss these top headliners coming to the #1 casino in Pennsylvania. Dave Koz and Friends, Summer Horns, Friday, August 11th. Wayne Newton, Saturday, August 26th. The Pointer Sisters, Saturday, September 23rd. Buddy Guy, Friday, October 6th. Gladys Knight, Saturday, November 11th. So grab some dinner. It's a great night for a date night. And you can grab dinner at one of the award-winning restaurants, Parks Grill. Liberty Bell Beer Garden is gorgeous for its outdoor dining feel with its unique open-air indoor seating. If you haven't been to Parks, you got to just set a date night, maybe a night out with the guys or a ladies' night. Feel the rush playing among the 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 table games. It's a lot of fun. Catch the game on the 156-foot video screen in the biggest and the best sports book on the entire East Coast. This is the perfect night out all summer long. For tickets and a complete list of upcoming shows, just visit parkscasino.com, PARXcasino.com. You're going to love it. Parks Casino and Sportsbook, this is how you win. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-lang-a-lang. Wants to call you on the telephone, baby. I give you a ring, but each time we talk, I get the same old thing. Always no huggy, no kissy until I get a wedding ring.
Yeah, you can give us a ring here on Kayal and Company if you'd like. 855-839-1210 as we welcome you back in. Dawn's News coming up in just over 10 minutes. What's on the cut sheet less than an hour away. Also, Ron DeSantis being destroyed for saying that basketball players are more athletic than baseball players. That's apparently racist to say that. So we will get to that story coming up in a little bit. And also a former quarterback in the city of Philadelphia being destroyed Saturday morning for catching and killing a bear as he goes hunting. And he actually now improves to 5-0 lifetime against the Bears. We'll get to that story as we come up.
Bears.
The Bears. Ditka, sausage, heart attack. Anyway, some presidential stuff. And it doesn't look like RFK Jr. is in line for a heart attack anytime soon because the guy is incredible, just remarkable physical condition at 70 years old. But it got me thinking over the weekend. I saw everybody from Republicans to conservatives to moderates to Democrats to progressives all tweeting in awe and amaze over like, oh my goodness gracious, RFK can bench press 135 pounds and he looks good doing it. And he can do a bunch of push-ups. And it got me thinking, but I want to just play you, this is probably more of a YouTube visual than an audio aspect for the show. So let's just fire this up. This is RFK Jr. It looks like he's almost in a prison, like in a prison gym outside, at the penitentiary working out. But it's, I believe, somewhere on the West Coast at an outdoor fitness center. And this is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. getting his workout on.
I'm not going to touch the bar until I see it stop for more than a second. Let's go.
All right, he's doing incline bench press, almost like a shoulder press here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. He's in great shape. I mean, I don't think I could ever get to that level. I'd have to quit drinking. He's banging out some reps. He's got a guy spotting him, and that's pretty much it. We could kill it there. Just wanted to give a little bit of a visual there.
This is obviously him trying to show that he's 70 and he's in great shape compared to the other two that are running.
Compared to the other two.
Yeah.
And that gets me to the other guy who, does not want to debate him in a primary setting. Let's take a listen. Here's just Joe being Joe, making jokes, kind of playing off the fact that most people believe he's not mentally with it enough to run for a second term.
I mean, no, really, think about it. Think about it. I know I'm 198 years old. But all kidding aside, think about that.
Yeah, we're going to think about it. So we've got Joe, who is 81 going on 198, and we've got RFK, who's 70, and he can bench press 198 pounds. But I was thinking about this weekend between those two, and Trump was going on a bit of his little tour this past weekend, and he was speaking at the Faith and Family Convention, I think the name of it was.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about all these candidates, right? And
Faith and Freedom.
Faith
Coalition,
and Freedom.
Yeah.
And throw in DeSantis as well. So these are kind of some of the narratives surrounding our presidential candidates. We've got Trump, who the left will say, and even some people on the right will say, he's on a revenge tour and he's stuck in the past. Some people will say that. He's in vindication mode. DeSantis is too infatuated with culture wars, and I think most of America, if they hear him say the word woke one more time, might throw their head through a windshield. RFK is doing push-ups as if physical stature really matters. We know he's got an annoying voice. Not his fault. He had a neurological condition, so I'm not making fun of that. But he's difficult to listen to. That's a fact. And the narratives surrounding RFK, when you hear RFK Jr., you think of the Kennedy last name, you think of family tragedy, and you think about the word vaccines. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, so help me God if Joe Biden gets reelected again. All because we have a depth of people on both sides where I feel like the message is starting to be lost on people. I don't know if you guys get, and I know we're 497 days out, but I just think, okay, Trump is hell-bent on, getting payback.
Relitigating the past.
Yes. DeSantis just can't get away from woke. And I've got RFK working out like he's auditioning for a role in Rambo 4.
But these guys are playing to the primary audience because 99.9% of people are not paying attention 400 and almost 500 days out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So they're doing exactly what they should be doing in a primary.
It's just, I think the message matters, and I don't think any of these things really resonate with people that are like, you know what, I want my personal life to be better.
Not with the normal average person, but to the people that are paying attention now, the hardcores. Yes, this resonates with all of them.
So we're in base pandering mode is what we're at right now.
100%, and it's going to be like this until the primary.
Yeah.
Actually, it'll get worse.
Yeah. It's so exhausting because I'm like, what are you going to do for the fact that I'm tired of paying $82 to fill up my vehicle? I'm tired of paying $380 on 2 grocery bills a week. Like, I'm tired of the stuff that all of us deal with because we live, every 2 weeks we get paid, and you look down and, I'm just generalizing here. 85% of your money's gone before you get the check. And you're just like, what are you doing for the average everyday American? And this is really, this is not just to the GOP as well. If you're RFK Jr., like, dude, eventually I need to know what your policies are. What is your plan for the economy? What are you going to do with the crime issues in big cities? These are the things that Bob and Susan wonder about each and every day. Not whether or not you can get that 10th rep on the bench press, but, if that's your go-to, I guess. I would just be, I know it's primary season. I would just advise people like, hey, the message matters. Keep it simple, stupid, and do something to connect with the average person out there that might be undecided. Because I think a lot of times the middle determines elections and determines outcomes. So
it always does.
Yeah. So we'll see. But
they're not playing to the middle yet because the middle doesn't care right now.
I know. It's sad. It's sad that so many people don't care.
That's just the nature of this beast.
I got it. All right, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. We'll come back. Dawn's got some news to kick off hour 2. And then Carson Wentz slays a bear, and everybody loses their mind. The story, the details, when we come back. Kayal and Company, hour 2. Stay there.
Businesses to watch, a spotlight on Armin Chevrolet. Armin Chevrolet's sizzling summer sell-down has arrived. So has the all-new, bigger, bolder, and more refined 2024 Chevrolet Trax. With a starting price of only $21,495. Yes, you heard right, $21,495. And all 5 Armin Chevrolet Trax models starting under $25,000. They're sure to be a Trax you love. Armin Chevrolet has over 45 new Chevrolet Trax available, but they're selling fast. Visit ArminChevy.com. Find new roads to Armin Chevrolet, where dealership meets friendship.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June means Men's Health Month for Rescue Natural Supplements. We all know how demanding life can be. When juggling work, family, and personal commitments, you need energy and optimal health. So fear not, because Rescue Men's Health Supplements are here for you. For the month of June, save 50% on the products that guys need most. That's half off on testosterone boosters, prostate support, and more. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate. No code is needed to get 50% off. Just call a Rescue Product Consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. res-q.com. It's not just your physical health. Men's supplements can help your mental well-being too. Again, no code is needed to get 50% off on Rescue Men's Health favorites. Shop res-q.com today. res-q.com.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here to talk about my friends at Family & Company Jewelers in Marlton, New Jersey. You've heard me talking about them nonstop, but now is the time to pay them a visit. Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey. If you're shopping for the perfect engagement ring, look no further. They have the top 5-star rating on Google with over 2,000 reviews. No one else comes close to that. Get the right ring. A ring from Family & Company Jewelers. Family & Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Hurts, gives it off, and keeps it, and rolls down to the 2, and is he in? Yes! He let it go, and it's intercepted. It's picked off by Josh Sweat. 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Josh Sweat! Deep down the far side, and it is A.J. Brown again! Another touchdown! He steps up, he's hit, he fumbles the football, but I think he has it. Nope. Now the Eagles have it! That'll be the game! He breaks away at the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Miles Sanders, touchdown! Wow. He is firing the football, and it is caught by Devontae Smith! Great catch! Attention, air traffic control. A flock of Eagles is heading to Arizona.
Ah, sweet memories. Last season was so much fun, and I believe this season will be even better. If you want your business to be part of this season's Eagles Radio Network highlight reel, email advertise@94wip.com for information. More great action is quickly approaching.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Summer is the perfect time to call Kathy Ganna at New Hope Academy. Does your child or grandchild need more of a challenge? Now's the time to make that call to Kathy Ganna at New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown at 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope founder Kathy Ganna, pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed at New Hope Academy. There's a student-teacher ratio of 2-to-1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call now for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today, 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy now, 800-300-0003.
Don't miss Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaros and Mark Cumberland, Saturdays at 1 p.m. Find out all you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com. Good News in Real Estate, Saturdays 1 p.m. on WPHT.
Dom Giordano at noon. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
The mama pajama rolled out of bed and she ran to the police station. When the papa found out, he began to shout and he started the investigation.
7:25. Actually, no. That's when my next read's coming up. Sorry about that. 7:04 as we continue live here on this Monday morning. Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What's on the cut sheets coming up 7:45? We'll get to Dawn's news coming up here in just a moment. Trump is continuing to poll very well. His lead in the GOP presidential primary field surging after his latest legal issues. New poll showing, courtesy of NBC News, that Trump is now nabbed 51%, marking a 29-point lead over Ron DeSantis, or as Trump would say,
DeSantis. Ron has always been a loser.
So he is now at 22%, according to the latest poll, which has increased because in April, NBC pegged Trump with 46% support compared to DeSantis at 31%. So you'll hear some stuff coming up on the cut sheet at 7:45, but wanted to pass that along as we wrapped up some of the presidential discussion that we had to wrap up the first hour. All right, 7:05. Let's get the news. Round number 2 here on a Monday morning. And here is the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning. This Monday morning, June 26th, we're at 70 degrees right now. I'll tell you when severe storms may be moving into our region. Many weather alerts going out this morning. We are sponsored by Hint Water this morning. In the news in Philadelphia, let's talk about what's going on. A lot of police investigations after, number one, a gunman ambushed and shot a couple just outside their home. This is the Strawberry Mansion section of Philadelphia. And Philadelphia police are saying at least 20 shots were fired. This is the 2700 block of North Dover Street. And this happened just after sundown last evening. 39-year-old man, 33-year-old woman targeted. They were just about to get out of their vehicle and walk toward their home when it appears, they say, a shooter or shooters were waiting for them and then ambushed them. So this is clearly, according to police, a targeted attack. But the 33-year-old woman suffering critical injuries. She's in critical condition this morning. And the man who she was with, who was the apparent target, is 39 years old. He's in stable condition this morning. And we've been updating for you the situation with hundreds of teenagers in Fairmount Park over the weekend when somebody drove up and opened fire on them in this shooting of a crowd of hundreds of teens and kids who were out there in Fairmount Park. We don't have names of the two victims. We only know that the youngest is a 19-year-old girl, as police say. She's in critical condition this morning. We know that a 20-year-old young man was also shot, but apparently is in stable condition, and we don't have really any more details. This happened on the Belmont Plateau in Fairmount Park. We only know that a dark-colored sedan pulled up, and somebody in the car reportedly told the group to disperse before they opened fire on this crowd of teens and kids. A case of road rage. Pennsylvania State Police investigating a reported shooting. This is I-95 in Delaware County. Police say that a man told them, and this happened last night around 10 o'clock last night, somebody shot at his vehicle, and you could see in the video that bullet that pierced his window, but apparently didn't hit him. But road rage.
Now, this, from a video standpoint, was this surveillance or was this somebody recording on a phone? Do we know?
No, what I mean is the news media showed up after the fact.
Okay.
Once police were investigating the vehicle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, to your point, which is a great point, oftentimes nowadays, this is how they solve crimes.
Yeah.
They can, especially on something like I-95, they can check all the cameras there. But so we're waiting, for word on that one. And we'll just mention that Governor Josh Shapiro in Philadelphia yesterday to host in South Philadelphia a celebration to honor the hardworking union crews who work 24/7 to reopen I-95. Those are a lot of the local stories. We've talked about the other national stories as well. But let's talk about Hint Water before I talk about sports and before I talk about our Phillies. Hint Water, delicious fruit-infused water, no sugar, no diet sweeteners. More than 25 amazing flavors, including watermelon and pineapple, in stores or delivered from hintwater.com. Let's talk about our Phils. By the way, the Phils will continue tomorrow facing off against the Chicago Cubs, but they get a day off today. And our Phillies, an unbelievable, really exciting win for our Phils. If you look at the final 7-6, we won, and one of the headlines, I don't care how we win.
The Mets lost.
What?
I mean, yesterday's game, the Mets lost. The Phillies didn't win. The Mets lost. I mean, come on.
The Phils had a dramatic rally, bottom of the 8th, scored 4 times to beat
The
New
homerness
York.
of you is just disgusting, but okay. Yes.
We won
The Mets
7-6.
lost.
We're the winners.
Yeah.
Phils win.
Three games back in the wild card, the Phillies are.
The Mets bullpen imploded. Look, a win's a win. I'm not taking anything away from that. A win's a win.
Right.
You take them how you can get it. But the Mets lost yesterday. Thank you.
Phillies won.
I'm telling you, Don, I sense a Stalker sports show coming. I could just feel the takes are coming out of his pores.
When you walk in, 4 runs in the 9th inning? I mean,
Blah,
come
blah,
on.
blah, blah, blah.
Like, you know.
Probably some poor officiating. That's what I figure.
I didn't see the game. I was too busy having Mike Opelka and Dom Giordano kick my keister in golf.
We won 7-6. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
We're the winners. You're only as good as your last game or your last show, right?
Yeah, Don, tell him.
Yeah. Ooh. College World Series, Florida rolls to beat LSU 24-4. What else? And Phil's get a day off today, facing the Chicago Cubs tomorrow. And let's get to the all-important forecast. Very humid, a few showers and T-storms possible early in the day, according to the NBC 10 First Alert forecast. By the afternoon, temperatures are going to climb to 88 degrees, and then strong to severe thunderstorms are expected to develop later in the afternoon into the evening. So the first wave looks like 3 p.m., but then that's just a precursor to what we're going to get tonight. My poor dog, Buddy Boy, he's just panting and just shaking. And he just had that surgery last Wednesday. He's like,
right.
oh, you got to be kidding me.
Uh-huh. So
But-
this is what it's like to live in Florida, I suppose. This real sticky, you almost can scoop up the water out of the air with a ladle.
Yes.
Oh, I hate that part.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we could get some flash flooding, all these alerts and warnings, damaging wind gusts, isolated tornado, they're saying cannot be ruled out. So we could see 70 mile an hour, 68, 70 mile an hour winds moving through the entire region. So we're under all of these alerts and watches and warnings. And I say it like that because sometimes it moves past us. And then we go, oh, that was a big nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're down the shore, you have off this week leading into the 4th of July or whatever, I always say, don't cancel your plans.
No.
Because it literally changes hour by hour.
That's correct.
Just be warned, right?
Yep.
Be educated. That's why you listen to Nick Kayal and Kayal and Company.
I learned from a guy in a golf shop that looks at the radar in his pro shop. He says, just because it's a 70% chance of a scattered storm, that's not doom and gloom. It's a 70% chance that it could come through and be gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
you're saying there's a chance,
That's
a 30%
exactly right.
chance that it'll be nothing.
That's correct.
Kayal and Company News Live.
Dawn with the news, 7:12 here on this Monday morning. So Saturday morning, I wake up, and before I go to play golf, I'm just looking at my timeline and news feed on social media, and apparently former Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz was able to go hunting and kill a bear, and he posted a picture about it on his, I guess, his Instagram or whatever social media he is on. And I saw the picture on Twitter, and the New York Post had the story, as did many other media outlets. And so many people were losing their ever-loving mind on a Saturday morning. Like, they were already in a ticked-off mood, didn't even enjoy their Saturday coffee, and they're irate over the fact that Carson Wentz had the audacity to go hunting and kill a bear. And I don't understand the outrage behind this. Now, I am not a hunter myself. I've been dying to go hunting. We should do a Kayal and Company winter hunting trip next year.
But you went hunting when you were a kid?
Never. I've tried so many times to go hunting. A couple of my buddies and their fathers go, and all of their dads, when I was in high school, they were like, so you really want to go with us? I'm like, yes, I want to learn how to do it, shoot a rifle, the whole bit. And they were like, no, I don't trust you. Like, they just think I'm just going to either injure myself or accidentally discharge something or whatever. So they've always shut me down. But because I can't stand fishing. I think fishing is boring as hell. But I would love to go hunting. And I know you're hunting and you're just sitting out there for hours waiting for the moment. But there's something that's always kind of drawn me in. And I love venison. I'm a huge fan of deer meat. Stalker will probably throw up as I say this. But I love venison. So here's my thing with the Carson Wentz story. Number one, did he violate a law? It does not appear that he violated any hunting or gaming law. Is he properly licensed? Number 2. By all accounts, he is. And it's not like he said, at least I don't see anywhere on social media where he said, I'm not going to eat this. And I've never had bear. I would love to try it. I've heard it's actually really, really good. Some people have told me that it's like deer, but even more tender, which I think is amazing to begin with. But if he didn't violate a law and he's properly licensed, and he didn't say he was just doing it for the thrill of killing an animal out in Mother Nature, I don't understand the backlash to this story. I mean, I guess everybody's outraged about everything and anything on social media. It's kind of like, you just go there to cry about everything that you hate in this world. But Carson Wentz posted the picture. I don't know if we actually have the picture of the...
Yeah, Greg, get it up.
They put it up on...
Oh, they already have it up.
Did you say this? Because this is an important piece to me.
What's that?
He was hunting with a crossbow.
He killed it with a bow?
Yeah.
Wow, I give him even more credit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a gun?
No.
I didn't know you could kill a bear with a bow. Shows what I know.
So
that rhyme, by the way.
Well, I mean, those crossbows are pretty, they're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The issue with this is, and as somebody who, I don't hunt. I don't have anything against people who do hunt.
Right.
But I think the issue is the picture. People know that meat comes from animals. They have to, unless you live. But I think it's just the picture that was put out on social media of him sitting over a dead bear.
Yeah.
I think that's what people have an issue with. I'm not saying I agree with that, by the way.
Do people
I'm just saying
freak out
that's
with-
what people don't want to know where their steak and chicken and everything else comes from. Now, bear meat I've never had.
Right.
Somebody on the YouTube chat here, Patrick, I believe, says that bear is very, very greasy.
Oh,
so I don't know, but
it might be a little
never eaten bear.
a little gamey, as they like to say.
Yeah.
But I see people that post pictures of a big deer. I caught me an 8-pointer or whatever, a buck.
You'll normally see people saying, like, can we not see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the bear looks like a big, looks like a big sleeping dog.
Okay.
Kind of. Like it's a cute shot of it,
Right.
I will say.
All right, so he
I
killed, Yogi.
So I agree with Greg. I think it would have been better to put the bear way in the background and then just show him with his crossbow.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, and maybe, I don't know.
Well,
But
I mean,
to
but
Greg's-
this is a staple of hunting and killing an animal, whether it's a deer, a bear, a shark. When you end up getting your catch, so to speak, you hold it up, right? Like look at this bass I caught. Look at this whatever fish I caught. I mean, like, I just, can you pick and choose which animals you're offended by that we kill?
Did he? Well, yeah, because the average person, the thing I would say to anybody being triggered is, well, what if we had to put a picture of you by a cow or a pig? Like pigs are said to be as smart as a toddler.
Well, I hate to tell everybody, but when you're driving down 95 and you see that big semi tractor trailer with the metal with the holes cut out, and there's a bunch of pigs in there.
Yeah.
Guess where they're going?
The slaughterhouse.
They're going to the slaughterhouse.
Yes.
They're taking their final ride.
Breaking news: humans kill animals.
Like I understand as somebody who hasn't eaten meat in a long time. Like I understand the outrage about it, but I'm just not. I can't look at that picture and just be like, oh, I know this stuff goes on. And by the way, if he eats it or whatever he's going to do with it, fine. You know what I mean? Like I really don't have.
Are you wigged out by people that have, like, if you go down to somebody's basement and there's like bear heads or deer heads on their walls?
No.
Okay.
That's the only thing I will say about this for people who are avid hunters, like my brother John, my grandpa was. I mean, the men in my family, not my dad, but on my mom's side of the family, is that they can't stand somebody who's that sport hunter.
Okay.
Who doesn't eat the meat, but more importantly, they go out there, they don't know what they're doing, and so they'll shoot and injure an animal, especially a deer.
Well, that's why I haven't been taken out by any of my friend's family.
And that's why so they can't stand that, because now you're injuring. The idea is that you shoot and kill the animal, you harvest everything, you eat the meat, make the venison sausage. My grandma made a great venison sausage. So I think that there are some people who say, he obviously went out with a team. He's obviously knows what he's doing with a crossbow.
Yeah.
This was not a high-powered rifle from far away either.
Apparently, he's a skilled hunter.
Yeah.
He's had many catches
grew up
before.
with that.
Daniel, can you put the photo again of Carson Wentz and the bear back up on the YouTube channel? Because I just want to see that. It's a huge bear.
Oh, I know.
I mean, look, if you're, we talk about, oh, look at that thing. Wow.
And this is in Alaska.
If you talk about survival instincts and stuff, like you take that bear and your family can eat for months.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So as far as that goes, I mean, look, I'm not naive to not know where this stuff comes from. I know people have to shoot it and kill it, and it ain't always pretty. You don't want to see where the sausage is made, but
so the consensus on the show, right now is we know it happens.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily we're not against it, but we just don't need to see your presentation of the words.
I don't care one way or another.
Okay.
I'm just saying that is what people always get outraged over, the pictures of dead animals on anywhere. You know what I mean? Like there's people, because like Dawn said, it looks like a sleeping dog, or you know what I mean? Like they put their
I will give
pet in there, even though that bear would eat their pet.
Yes, that's correct, and not think twice about it.
And by the way, like in a situation, that bear probably would have eaten him, Carson Wentz.
Absolutely,
if it was, so
there's an absolute chance that bear could kill Carson Wentz. I mean, you've seen Carson Wentz. He takes one sack and he's limping around for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Mark says people need to mind their business on this. It takes skill and lots of money to hunt. I agree on all of that. But then if people need to mind their business, then Carson Wentz doesn't need to post a photo of it.
I agree there. And now there is one word in his posting above the picture. He says, got the opportunity to spot and stalk black bear in one of our new favorite places on earth, Alaska. I don't need the stalk. If I'm gonna nitpick anything, spot and stalk black bear. That's a trigger word, right? Stalking the poor animal who never knew it was coming. So I get that there. If you're a little ticked off about that. A couple of the Instagram comments, quote, hope next time the bear wins and you lay down. Another user said, incredible animal. So you kill it? Makes sense. But then there are former quarterbacks and former teammates of his that come to his defense. Former Washington Commanders quarterback Taylor Heineke says, holy bleep, man, need a taste of them. And former Bears quarterback Jay Cutler, no pun intended there with the Bears, says, well done, congrats. Again, my thing is, and again, I'm not a hunter. He didn't violate a law. He's properly licensed. He's skilled at what he does. And he didn't say in the post that he was not going to eat it. It doesn't look like a trophy kill by any description that he posted. So, again, it's just one of these things for me where I just feel like people are just always looking and always seeking to be offended by somebody else's life.
Somebody else in the YouTube chat said that is a compound bow, not a crossbow.
Oh.
And added a level of difficulty.
Okay. Even more skill for Carson Wentz.
Well, I mean, obviously it's a skill.
Yeah, if he was this accurate, he'd still be in Philadelphia. Actually, he'd be on a team. I think he's a free agent. Nobody wants the guy.
Yeah, maybe he should have spent more time practicing and less time bear hunting.
So do you think, let's say there's a report out there that the Las Vegas Raiders are going to work out Carson Wentz. Do you think PETA shows up to petition and get all outrageous in the parking lot? You do not sign Carson Wentz. And they're holding up signs with Yogi the Bear and
Yogi the Bear. I don't know. I mean, who cares what PETA thinks anyway?
Exactly. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. All right, coming up next, Ron DeSantis gets criticized for making an observation that everybody acknowledges. We'll get to that on the other side. But I got to tell you about my love for first responders. And we're talking about the Bend to the Shore bike tour, which is coming up on Sunday, July 23rd. Now, you have a lot of options here. You can ride with me and do 65 miles from Philadelphia to Atlantic City, or you can ride 30 miles from Hamilton, and there's a family-friendly celebration at the Showboat Hotel after the ride. And you can register to ride with me in Team 1210 right now. I'm going to be the captain of Team 1210, and you can be a part of it, whether you're riding or maybe even more importantly, donating to support a great cause. Visit bendtoshore.org, and when you sign up with the code NICK1210, they're going to knock off $25 off of your registration fee. That's Ben, B-E-N, the number 2, shore.org, promo code Nick1210. And we've had donations up to $500. And the last time I checked, like $3,600 or so?
You're at $3,515 right now.
$3,515.
Our goal is $5,000.
Okay.
So, Daniel, if you can put the link to donate into the YouTube chat to make it easier for people, I will also tweet out the link. It's Team 1210.
Okay.
That's the page you need to donate on, so it goes to our little group here. So, it's Team 1210. I will tweet out the link right now.
All right, let's show everybody how the 1210 WPHD and Odyssey Family supports law enforcement. Bend to Shore is organized by Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. We had 2 great members in the studio on Friday to talk about it. If you missed that, you can go back and check it out on YouTube or the Odyssey app. But FBBCF provides financial relief for the families of fallen and injured first responders and supports the Police Youth Alliance, which fosters a positive relationship between police and youth, and that's something we could certainly do much more of.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials Light Trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials Light Trap. Insecticide-free protection.
It's Ram season, which means it's time to serve with Ram 1500, Ram 3500, and Ram TRX. Hurry in now for great deals on the trucks that are built to serve. And right now during Ram season, get 10% below MSRP on the purchase of 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn models equipped with a V6 engine. Not compatible with lease offers or any other consumer incentive offers. Contact dealer for details. Take retail delivery by 7/5/23.
Being a baseball play-by-play broadcaster demands a blend of learned mechanics, intense preparation, and a calm sense of entertainment. How hard is it to do this job? Let's talk to the ones who do it. This is Matt Spiegel. My new podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, will bring those conversations to you as the best working and former broadcasters tell you why and how they do it. New episodes come every Thursday all summer long. Follow The PBP, Voices of Baseball, on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts.
World-renowned PhD economist Moshe Milevsky says that your stocks, bonds, and mutual funds are nothing more than one big lump sum of risk and cannot guarantee the income streams you need to maintain your lifestyle in retirement. In the groundbreaking film, The Baby Boomer Dilemma, this award-winning expert reveals the key ingredient that your 401k and retirement plans are missing, no matter how large your nest egg is.
One of the important things for people to understand is how to measure wealth at retirement. They measure wealth at retirement by the size of the account. But the income that we can get from that sum of money is shrinking. You have to convert wealth into income at retirement.
Reserve your seat for the next private screening of The Baby Boomer Dilemma at Springfield Country Club on June 28th and discover how the guaranteed income solutions presented by the renowned experts in this shocking film align with the exclusive crash-proof retirement system. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Don't give in to that constant joint pain. Take control. Take back your quality of life today with help from QC Kinetics. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. QC Kinetics is helping people here every day with their amazing non-surgical treatments which repair and restore damaged joint tissue. So they use the latest advances in regenerative medicine, taking your body's own healing agents, concentrating them, and then putting them directly into the area where you're suffering with that agonizing pain. This incredible non-invasive approach helps you take back control of your body, relieving the pain in your knees or your hips, shoulder, or back. No invasive surgery, no harmful drugs or steroids, no downtime. Listen, summertime needs to be about having fun. Call now for your free consultation with QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Today is the first weekday morning commute on the newly reopened I-95. Governor Josh Shapiro was part of a big thank you luncheon to give thanks to the crew working to get it up and running. 12-time Grammy-nominated rapper and producer Busta Rhymes took home the Lifetime Achievement Award at last night's BET Awards, and the Phillies beat the Mets 7-6 Sunday in South Philly.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
You looking for a date night? Maybe a girls' night out, guys' night out? Gotta check out Parks Casino and Sportsbook, the best place for a night out, and the only casino and sportsbook I ever recommend, as you well know. Summertime brings the hottest entertainment to the state-of-the-art Excite Center inside Parks Casino and Sportsbook. Don't miss these top headliners coming soon to the #1 casino in Pennsylvania. Dave Koz and Friends, Summer Horns, Friday, August 11th, Wayne Newton, Saturday, August 26th, and then as we move into September, the Pointer Sisters, Saturday, September 23rd, Buddy Guy, Friday, October 6th, and Gladys Knight, Saturday, November 11th. Grab dinner at one of the award-winning restaurants, Parks Grill and Liberty Bell Beer Garden, for its outdoor dining feel with its unique open-air indoor seating. Feel the rush playing among 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 table games. Just catch the game on the 156-foot video screen, because size does matter when it comes to, video screens. And it's the biggest, the best sportsbook on the entire East Coast. And it's really the perfect night out all summer long. For tickets and complete lists of upcoming shows, just visit parkscasino.com, PARXcasino.com. You're going to love it. Parks Casino and Sportsbook, this is how you win. You got to be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Calling on Ridley Park to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
Kayal and Company, 7:31. It's a Monday morning. Welcome back in. Hopefully all of you had a great weekend and your work week is off to a great start. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us live on the free Odyssey app. And, of course, you can watch us on YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. We're trying to get to $5,000 for the Bend to Shore bike ride, but we're also trying to get to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. And, we still got 3 weeks to get to $5,000, but we're running out of time to get to 4,000 before the 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, we have a week, and we're at 3,742-ish.
Okay.
So we need to get... All right, I can't do that math. Somebody help me. 200 and some odd subscribers for our YouTube channel to get us to 4,000 subscribers. So if you're listening right now or you're watching right now and have not subscribed, please do so.
Yep.
Hit the subscribe button to help us get to 4,000. My goal is 4,000 by the 4th of July.
That's correct.
So can you be the 4,000th YouTube subscriber? We have people on here that were like number 32 and number 5.
It's like being at the deli line.
Yeah, exactly.
Now serving number 5.
Because we started with none. We
Right.
started with none back on March 28th. We launched this thing. We started going live every day, probably at the mid to end of April. So this is a very new experiment for us.
Yes.
So help us. This is all grassroots. We're doing this all by ourselves. Well, I mean, Daniel and some of the engineers are helping.
The suits aren't helping.
No, they never help.
No.
They never help. They're like, yeah, you go do that. Tell us, the sports station is basically like, tell us when it's ready, and then we'll glom on to you guys. So.
Speaking of the sports station, so yesterday we go to play our Travis Manion Foundation Radiothon golf outing.
Yeah.
And it's myself, it's Dom Giordano, and Opelka.
Sure, Michael Opelka.
And he donated, for the foundation.
He did.
So we go into the clubhouse, and we give our name, and the guy in the clubhouse in the pro shop says, "Oh, are you with WIP?" And we and Dom goes, "No, we're with 1210 WPHT." And he goes, "Oh, are you Terry?" And I was like, "No, I'm Nick." And Dom had this look on his face like, "Oh, sports station. Yeah, we're always like we're just that little station down in the corner of the hallway.
Yeah.
Just, doing their thing,
blazing new trails.
That's
but
right. That's right.
It's fine. It's all good. But help us. We really want to get to 4,000 by the 4th of July.
That's correct.
So we only need 200 and some odd more subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
We can definitely do that. So please help us get there.
Who's Terry?
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, we've got a Nick, we've got a Mike, we've got a Don.
You should have said, "This is Howard Eskin."
Hey, listen up, genius.
No, just say, "This is Howard."
Yeah.
Can you give us some, give us some love?
Yeah, give me some love. And give me a free thing of balls.
Yeah, he probably would have gotten
exactly right.
something.
I could have used some extra balls yesterday because they kept going in the water and into the woods.
So what happened? Did you?
I was a disgrace. I was like, I never played the game before. And Opelka knows I can play because I played with him twice before and shot in the 80s. Dom shows up, and all of a sudden I'm like nervous or something. I don't know what happened. And Mike was like, "Did you not have any alcohol last night?" I said, "No." Actually, I said, "I didn't get home until 7 o'clock Saturday night from playing. Quick turnaround Sunday morning. I had no cocktail Saturday night. That's probably what threw me off." And I'm out there sweating profusely, Dawn. You would have thought I had an irrigation system hooked up to my hat.
You know what it was? It was the barometric pressure with all these storms moving through. It just knocked you off kilter.
Yes.
That's what it was.
It was. And by the way, Dom, if we were playing for money, I would have thought he was a ringer and he was hustling me. He shows up and he's like, "Yeah, I've gotten out once or twice this year." And then we go to the first tee and Dom's hitting bomb after bomb.
Really?
I was calling him the Dom Bomb, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, "Man, look at Dom out there playing." And he was like, "Man, you're having a rough day, Nick." I said, "Yeah, Dom, it's just, I'm having a Dylan Mulvaney moment, I guess."
So who won?
Opelka won. Opelka played
okay.
the best. Yeah. Yeah. He blew me out, and he played a little bit better than Dom. But Mike and Dom were very good. I was the young guy out there looking like the buffoon that should have just stayed home and spent the day on YouTube.
Well, that's why golf is crazy like that. Like sometimes you might have that off
You're right.
day.
Yes. It's very humbling. It's a lot like radio. 855-839-1210, the number. A couple of stories here on a basketball front, and I'll explain here in a moment. And then also, we got to talk about this Russia story. But DeSantis is now being crushed for saying that basketball players are more athletic than baseball players. And a columnist for the USA Today, another left-wing publication, says that this is a racist observation and statement by Mr. DeSantis. Governor Ron DeSantis noticed aloud what most Americans have long understood, that basketball players are more athletic than baseball players because it's a different skill set. Baseball, hand-eye coordination, right? But according to Mike Freeman of USA Today, saying so is a dog whistle for the racist whites, or as Freeman calls it, a bullhorn. Here is the quote that Ron DeSantis said in an interview with the Christian Broadcasting Network. Quote, "So I think that there's kind of a place for everybody on a baseball team if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to practice, and if you're willing to hone your skills. I kind of thought it was always a very democratic game, a very meritocratic game. Whereas I kind of viewed like basketball as these guys who are just freaks of nature. They're just incredible athletes. In baseball, you have some guys that might not necessarily be the best athletes, but maybe they've got, that slider that nobody can hit, or they can have the skills that allow them to compete at a highest or higher level." So Mike Freeman, who is a left-wing sports writer for the USA Today, of course, jumps all over this and says, of course, Ron DeSantis is racist. I'm sure Mike Freeman is probably adhering to the NAAC's travel advisory warning of do not travel to Florida. It is a hostile state for the African-American community, right? The story we talked about in the past. He's absolutely right with his assessment of these two sports. Like, how many times have we seen very fat players in baseball? You could have great hand-eye coordination for a fat guy. You could have a ability to throw one or two great pitches, which is absolutely a skill set, no doubt about it, but it's not the same as playing basketball and running up and down the court for 48 minutes. It's a lot like soccer. You have to be in incredible condition and have a lung capacity that is commendable. Whereas baseball, it's absolutely, and I'm not downplaying baseball. I mean, you try hitting a 93-mile-an-hour fastball when you have a split second to figure out fastball versus curveball, that's an absolute skill. Just like golf. You think it's easy to hit a little ball with a big club? It's not. It is humbling. But basketball players are the best athletes on the planet, and many people have acknowledged that. So I don't understand why I understand why they do it. I just vehemently disagree with, once again, a sports writer leaving his lane to get political and then makes the accusation that, oh, that's a racist statement from Ron DeSantis. By the way, there's a lot of black players. There's a lot of Dominican players, Asian players in baseball. Baseball is not just a white guy's sport.
But wasn't it a little bit, he was being a little bit self-deprecating, right? Because he was wasn't he a star baseball player all growing up, and then he played on the Yale team, right?
Yep.
So I think a piece of this that USA Today, I think, is leaving out is like, I think he was just saying, because they're saying, yeah, you were a star baseball player, and he's saying, yeah, but we're not the best athletes. To me, he was saying that.
He's also saying about himself, like, I'm not athletic enough to play basketball.
Yeah, he's being a little self-deprecating, I think.
Yes.
Because why didn't he talk about golf?
Right.
Why didn't he talk about another sport?
Yep. So wanted to pass that story along. And then also on the basketball front, another professional basketball player, or I should say a professional athlete, but this specifically a pro basketball player, has died after what many people are saying is a link to the COVID vaccine. Professional Dominican basketball player Oscar Cabrera Adames died this past week after an apparent heart attack while he was undergoing a stress test. The 28-year-old is believed to have suffered from myocarditis, which is something the sports community and the news and politics and social world have certainly become more familiar with over these last 2.5, 3 years since the COVID-19 vaccine has come out. The disease, myocarditis, can weaken the heart and its electrical system, which decreases the heart's ability to pump blood. That, according to the American Heart Association. Following his death, social media posts surfaced in which Cabrera Adames suggested that he developed the rare heart disease after he received 2 doses of a COVID vaccine. This was on his social media page where he posted, "I got damn myocarditis from taking a bleeping vaccine. I got 2 doses of Pfizer and I knew it. People warned me," Cabrera wrote on social media before he passed away. He also said that the vaccine was a, quote, work requirement. But, quote, guess what? It was compulsory or I couldn't work. I am an international professional athlete and I am playing in Spain. I have no health problem, nothing. Not hereditary, no asthma, nothing. I suddenly collapsed to the ground in the middle of a match and almost died. I'm still recovering, and I had 11 different cardiology tests done, and guess what? They found nothing. And his collapse happened in 2021, and now apparently as he underwent this stress test at 28 years old, clean bill of health, no heart issues, and he drops dead. According to the story, it does remain unclear if the stress test was the direct cause of the heart attack. But I saw a lot of people talking about this over the weekend, and this is once again one of these stories where healthy athlete, young, prime of his career, forced to get a shot, and who knows what exactly led to it, but there are certainly cases of this being legit, and I think a lot of people get fired up about this. And I think really the thing is, it's the forcing of the vaccine. Like 28 years old playing basketball overseas, forced to get a shot. So that's just brutal. It's just absolutely brutal. And you know, some young people get it, they're fine. Other, like my wife's uncle is 70 years old, never got the vaccine, got COVID twice, was fine. Like there's exceptions to every rule. But again, you know, the mandate for the vaccine of these athletes, you know, we talked about this, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, where Novak Djokovic won a big tennis event. And remember, he was barred from traveling to compete in the United States for tennis events because of his vaccination status. You know, the pro athlete, you know, obviously somebody that dies, I feel horrible for, but I don't feel overly bad for the pro athlete that couldn't compete and make some money if they're really well off. Where I really feel bad is for the people that legitimately lost their job working 9 to 5s because of not getting vaccinated. which is why I will always share the good stories when these stories come out about people that get rehired and are given back pay for their employer's decision in the past, that after further review, the company's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe we got this one wrong. Let's bring back Bob. Let's give him back, $72,000 in back pay and give him his job back. And if that person takes the job back, more power to him. 855-839-1210 is the number. 7:45 right on the dot here on a Monday. Let's get to what's on the cut sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
Yes, what's on the cut sheet on this Monday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos. Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter. At Cherry Hill Volvo, check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. Thank you, Cherry Hill Volvo, for sponsoring the ever-important Monday edition of What's on the Cut Sheet. Two different legal opinions on the Hunter Biden text message. We talked about this a lot on Friday, Thursday with the on the WhatsApp, where he basically said, "My daddy is sitting next to me, and you better pay me, or there's going to be hell to pay." MSNBC legal analyst dismisses it as awfully flimsy. Then we'll play Dershowitz, who says it needs to be prosecuted. Let's first start with MSNBC legal analyst discussing this.
We have not verified it. It's based on a WhatsApp. We don't know the verification of that. We don't know whether Hunter was exaggerating when he talked to someone, if it's authentic, when he said, "My father's here with me." And it was when Joe Biden was not in office, in between vice presidency and the presidency.
Yes.
By the way, don't you love how she sets this up?
Oh, I know.
Like basically saying, this is all nothing. Don't worry about it. Now your opinion, ma'am.
We have not fact-checked this yet. We have not consulted Brian Stelter, who's a fact-checker free agent.
What is happening here?
Well, it's important that she sets up the truth, but as well, here's the thing, whether or not he was sitting there, it's still worthy of an investigation, right?
Absolutely.
But obviously there's no evidence as of yet whether he was indeed sitting by him, which is why we need the investigation. And he's still a really powerful figure, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
which will be Dershowitz's point in 1 second, but let me just get through this MSNBC legal analyst first.
I read that statement, and I find it to be awfully flimsy on which to build any sort of an investigation. It just simply is some sort of puffery by Biden.
Puffery. It's some puffery.
So
what the hell is puffery?
I have no idea.
You know what puffery is? Russia.
Yes.
That's puffery, my friends.
We know Dershowitz is a lawyer, so he qualifies as a legal analyst. I don't know who that MSNBC legal analyst is. Well, I would hope that it's somebody that has a law degree.
Yes, if they're a legal analyst, of course they have a law degree.
Well, I mean, there's some people out there that I feel like, that might not necessarily be either practicing attorneys or have a law degree. But my issue with this, number one, from a broadcast presentation standpoint, is can you just at least set it up with the facts and then give the opinion? That would be nice. And I don't know, when I read that, it looks like a threat to me. And then she sits there and says, we don't know if he's exaggerating or embellishing. So now we're going to try to decipher. The last time I checked, when you put something like that in print, whether you handwrite it or type it, it's not up for interpretation as to whether or not, I was just joshing you. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just blowing off steam. How's the person on the receiving end of that text supposed to decipher what your intent is? Yeah. Come on.
I'll get to Dershowitz in 1 second, but if you're watching right now on YouTube, please hit the like button for today's program. I want to get to, we're at like 60 likes right now. I want to get to 100 likes.
Yes.
So if you're watching right now, please hit the like button. Alan Dershowitz over the weekend was on Fox News and said, he also said that we don't know the validity of all this, but hey, it's worth an investigation.
Okay.
The key point is it would be an impeachable offense if, in fact, Biden sat next to his son and heard him make that demand for money. Now, we don't know whether it's true. A, we don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard the tape. But B, I don't know whether Hunter Biden was telling the truth when he said he was sitting next to his father. But there is probable cause And this has to be investigated. And thank God for our system of checks and balances, that we have a Congress that is not controlled by the party in power and can do the kind of investigation. And Biden can't plead his Fifth Amendment anymore because his lawyers have said that he's no longer subject to any criminal prosecution.
Now, there's the key thing right there. There's probable cause. There's enough here to say this needs to be investigated. And yes, we don't know for certainty with 100% clarity that WhatsApp message is 100% factual, or the contents of that message. Is Joe really there? What did Hunter mean? But when you read that, assuming that message is authentic from the standpoint of it was sent from Hunter Biden, I mean, what else do we have? What else do you need? I mean, could MSNBC be more partisan?
How do you prove, though, that he was there when Hunter Biden made that message?
Yeah, that I don't know. I mean, you can certainly authenticate the message. I'm sure if you go to the WhatsApp company and subpoena them, I'm sure they have like a log and, computer printouts of what messages and whose accounts and what number it's under.
I seriously doubt, I'm just going to say, I seriously doubt that Joe Biden was sitting there with him. The question I have is when we look at those financial records, and that's the beauty of banking records and financial records and all these transfers where money was being transferred from foreign bank accounts and foreign entities and infused directly in, allegedly, okay, according to the House Ethics Committee, directly into the bank accounts of Biden family members. So I would love to know, let's just time it out. We know when those banking records and those bank infusions, a whole lot, millions of dollars that you've talked about, right?
Yep.
When did the money come through? When were the transfers sent? And then let's tee them up with the different messages from Hunter. And then, where was his dad? And when was his dad in office? I remember during the Obama administration, there were rumblings of then President Obama was upset about Hunter.
Yeah.
And so I think they all knew about this. I think this is why, in fact, Biden was hesitant to run the first time around in 2015. They all knew about this. I think Obama was upset about this. I mean, remember all this swirl of this stuff. So I just think they have to line everything up. Bank records, phone records, text records, and then look at and then emails. Did the then Vice President Biden, how long it's like the song, how long has this been going on?
Yeah. Well, and from a credibility standpoint, too, from Hunter Biden, if you think about everything he's been linked to, credibility and telling the truth, probably not too far and high up on his list of priorities. This is a guy with major drug issues. This is a guy with tax issues. This is a guy with, the whole firearm situation. So he could be totally shooting from the hip here. And, my dad's right here. And his dad might not be anywhere around. But also keep in mind, he's lived with Joe for a while. Remember, he was paying all that rent. So they could very well be together.
Yeah. Well, and, to your point, and this is the piece of it. Why doesn't Andrea Mitchell and all these MSNBC and so, why don't they say, hey, does this investigation not allow now President Biden to be cleared?
Yep.
He had a son who, by his own admission, had an issue, went through rehab. So why doesn't the Biden family or even Hunter come out and say, hey, my dad had nothing to do with this? Why doesn't he make a statement? My dad had nothing to do with this. I had a chemical dependency issue. I've gone through rehab. I'm sorry to my dad. I'm ashamed of this. Would this not clear the president?
Right.
And why is it that nobody's saying that? If you're Andrea Mitchell, for example, or the other one that called it, what does she call it?
A puffery.
Muddled or puffery?
Puffery.
Puffery. Yeah. If you think it's puffery, then say, oh boy, I look forward to this House Ethics Committee hearing to clear the president.
Yes.
Clearly, his kid. How many people? Your kid, your grown son, is a drug addict. My God, we're in an opioid crisis. I'm just surprised that they don't take this talking point. What else do they know that they're not saying?
They are just lapdogs for this administration. It's so I can't even sugarcoat it anymore. They don't care about anything that works against Joe. We show his low poll numbers. That's nice.
But to your point, Nick, why is it? I mean, Andrea Mitchell is as an insider. Look at who her husband is, right? So what does she know? Or what has she heard?
Yep.
Why is it that she doesn't say, well, let the president be cleared. Let the investigation go on.
Yeah.
What do they know off the record and behind the scenes?
Could you imagine if it was Don Jr. or Eric?
Oh my God. They'd be locked up. I mean, Manafort.
There's discussion about the Kushners and
what?
No, there's
here we go.
There we go. What? No, I'm just telling you. There's discussion amongst people who say, well, what about the Kushners and their dealings with the Saudis after Trump was in office?
Well,
I'm playing both sides here, darling. I know that's frowned upon on this radio station, but I am.
Well, first of all,
Trump is connected with Liv, which is backed by Saudis.
Well, wait a minute. If we want to talk about who's backed by the Saudis, let's go back to the Bush family. Remember George W.?
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Absolutely.
So the Saudis. Hello, they are an ally, right? Who did Joe Biden fist bump with? I think a Saudi prince.
Which apparently that's disrespectful. Did you read about that?
Yeah.
Like you didn't shake my hand, as in like is your hand dirty? That doesn't play too well over in those parts of the world, I've heard.
But it's amazing to me that is a liberal talking point. Oh, Jared and Ivanka, who BTW were quite wealthy pre-White House and pre-2016. In fact, I think they lost a whole lot, certainly, and they lost all their friends, their New York City.
Well, that's why they
friends.
won't be involved the second time around. They've already said.
Yeah, they've said
keeping the family out of it.
But to say
there's also rumors of why they're not involved as well.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, yeah.
The Saudis, isn't it funny how the Saudis are our big ally, and Biden goes over and meets everybody, and everybody's all happy, and past administrations are buddy with the Saudis and the oil buddies. But when these conversations come up, Ivanka and Jared, give me a break.
I'm just saying. You all right over there, Stock?
Mm-hmm.
Stocker's on one today.
NBC Meet the Press started off this way.
When you just go push out those liberal talking points, I can't stand it.
Okay, Greg, are you poking the bear? Do we need a Carson Wentz bow hunting expedition here? Or
the mama bear?
It's not a crossbow. What was that called? It was something that was more high powered.
The mama bear. He's poking the mama bear.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm defensive this week. Well, you poked me right from 6:01 with your big take on the Moms for Liberty. Which was a great big take.
I even threw the mama bear in there, which, by the way, was not my wording. That was from that MSNBC writer. He called you guys mama bears.
Right. Which is
you should book him on the Dawn Show. Have Dorenzo get him on. Explain his 13-sentence column.
Yeah,
I counted it. 13 sentences. That constitutes a column these days.
NBC poll. This is terrible for Biden. NBC poll, because we were just talking about MSNBC. NBC's Meet the Press started off this way. A full 68% of voters, including 43% of Democrats, which is twice what it was in 2020, say they're concerned that Biden does not have the necessary mental and physical health to be president. This is how Chuck Todd reported it on a Sunday.
Biden's job rating sits at just 43%, about where it's been since the withdrawal from Afghanistan. 53% disapprove. A full 68% of voters, including 43% of Democrats now, which is twice what it was in 2020, say they are concerned that Biden does not have the necessary mental and physical health to be president.
Wow. That's an NBC poll, too, by the way.
It is. But then I would ask these Democrats that are down and out on Joe, what's your plan? Like, what do you want? Because Gavin Newsom hasn't thrown his name in the hat, and the one guy who could at least put up, I think, an interesting, compelling debate with Joe is RFK Jr., and yet he's only in the 15 to 20% area. It's just, okay, great, but like you're probably, gun to my head, I bet you if I poll those people, they're still going to vote for Joe.
Well,
which is so infuriating.
That's the interesting thing, right? Like people are unhappy with his performance. They don't know if he can finish a second term. They don't know if he's mentally there, but they'll still vote for him.
I know.
Right?
I know.
It's.
That's why I went on the little tangent I went on in the first hour about messaging and what we got going on from all these guys right now, from DeSantis to Trump to RFK. It's like I see all these, and I know it's primary season, but the point being was I'm so unenthused by the lack of a direction, or at least the direction that I think it should go in, that this guy's going to getting reelected by default.
One more statistic from that NBC poll. Here's Chuck Todd again.
Just 20% of voters believe this country is headed in the right direction. 74% say the nation is on the wrong track.
Wow.
Let me tell you something about this moment. We have had this sustained period of 70%, about a year now. The last two periods in the history of this poll that we've had this kind of sustained negativity about the direction of the country was before the 92 election and before the 2008 election. Both of those changed the party controlling the White House.
I would love, and I've said this before, I would love to know the 26% of the country that think that this nation is on the right track and heading in the right direction. How do you arrive at that conclusion?
Well, think about that last stat that he just said, that the last time it was this low was 1992 and 2008 for an incumbent, and both times it's changed the
direction of who's
the White
in
House.
charge.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, and you think of 2008, and you think of too big to
Obama.
fail.
Yeah, yeah.
Then Obama came in and brought hope and youth and energy. And so I think that's why the Democrats are already looking at, I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking at Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. I think, I'm not even kidding you. I think the Democrats.
Stock is super high.
Seriously. And I think the Democrats are looking, they're saying we're a year and a half out. How are we looking? And if we made a change, when would we have to make the change? And who has the least baggage?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really, I know I always try to make things local, but I just think they're looking at Gavin Newsom, a California baggage, but he's a really good looking guy.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine?
Yeah, he's a good, and that's a consideration. He's got good hair and good teeth.
But
He's a good looking guy.
To your point right now, Josh Shapiro's been here for a cup of coffee, right?
Yep.
He's been in office for 5 months, give or take. You could argue the I-95 getting back open in 2 weeks. In 5 months, he's done something more impressive than Gavin Newsom has done in however many years he's been in California.
Yeah, and he's somebody who they're saying, hey, he's more youthful, married his high school they love the backstory, married his high school sweetheart, wonderful dad, kids, young, some of the kids are still younger, grew up in Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? And he's normal, less baggage. I'm really serious. I think the Democrats are looking at all of this, and they'll just leak more about Biden to get rid of him. If
That's what I said on Friday.
Right?
They're slow walking him to the exit.
If they need to.
Two comments here from the YouTube chat. Exiled Kraken says Shapiro has as much experience as Obama did when he got the nomination. He's 100% right about that. Bix says Feinstein and Fetterman in 2024.
Stop.
Man.
That's a sin.
Can you imagine?
But wait a minute. Josh Shapiro
two freaking
has
vegetables.
Josh Shapiro has far more experience.
Agreed.
Than Obama.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
No. That has the same amount of
Oh
experience.
no. No, Shapiro has much more experience than Obama. Obama was a community organizer and a state senator, had very little. He was a baby compared to Shapiro.
I just love that the Dems right now, and we can put Gavin Newsom and Shapiro to the side for a moment, but when you think about Democrats, there's 4 things that come to my mind right away. Biden, Feinstein, Fetterman, and there was another one I was going to roll out. Point being, to your point,
Phil Murphy, maybe you're going to...
Yeah, or like, and then you throw out the Republicans, and you've got from Trump down to DeSantis, to Vivek, to Nikki, to Tim Scott. It's like the Democrats are all, throw in RFK as well. That's the other Democrat I forgot. The Democrats are all white and 70 years old or more. They're between 70 and 89 years old. RFK would actually be the youngest, followed, Fetterman would be the youngest. Fetterman, RFK, Joe's 81, and Dianne Feinstein is 89. You got one guy with a neurological condition. The other guy had a stroke. Joe's got whatever he has. And Dianne Feinstein legitimately doesn't know she's alive. Yet the Republicans have people in their 30s, 40s,
Yeah.
50s, 60s, white, black, minority, Indian. We got everything. And I'm told the Democrats are the party of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that, does it?
The Democrats are just full of dust.
Well, they prop these people up to get into that office just so they can push the agenda that they want to.
That's correct.
It's that's politics. It's sad that we're like that, but we are.
Yep.
And you know what? We vote. We not us, but the people vote for them. So like we have nobody to blame but ourselves.
That's pretty accurate.
Let's stick with Chuck Todd here for a second. He, since we're talking about the mental acuity and mental physical and the physical health of Joe Biden, Chuck Todd grilled Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar?
Klobuchar, I think.
Whatever you say her name. About the mental and physical health. Also, Hunter Biden being invited to that state dinner over the weekend. I'm sure you guys saw that.
Yes.
Since it's all things Hunter Biden. I'm just kidding, Don. I'm just kidding. Cut 13 here.
I'm going to ask you a couple political questions here. We got a new poll out. We asked various questions having to do with President Biden and his ability to do the job. Does he have the mental and physical health to serve? The concern among Democrats has doubled since October 2020. It was only 1 in 5 Democrats that had that concern before Election Day 2020. It's now over 40%. It's 43%. You were just with the president at the state dinner. Do you have any concerns?
No, I don't. He did so well at that state dinner. I think we all saw his power at the State of the Union. Our party is united behind him. Why? Because we work in a results-oriented business, Chuck, and he has gotten results.
I will say this, though. She's right. The party is united behind him. It's going to. I know the polls show something different right now. No, people are not happy. No, people don't think he can finish the second term. And by the way, no, most people think that he's not all mentally there. But if it comes down to a Trump v. Biden, you damn well bet people are going to line up behind Biden and vote for him. The entire party will.
We've all said that when push comes to shove. The one thing that there's many things I think that Democrats do better than Republicans, sadly. And by the way, I had lunch with our boy Athan Koutsarumbis on Friday. He was
did you?
Telling me
was that?
It was good. It was good. He was showing me some surveys and some polling stuff about where Republicans dropped the ball, and it was interesting data. Maybe I'll do a big take later in the week on this. But no, we've all said this. Democrats, when it comes time to put up or shut up, they all rally and unite behind one person or whatever the cause might be or the messaging. And that's part of the reason why they have so much success. And they don't have the infighting like Republicans do and some of the sniping, which I hope comes to a close eventually on the Republican side of the thing on social media. Because I'm about to start muting people that spend their entire life's existence tweeting about Ron DeSanctimonious and or Donald J. Trump. Like if that's your whole timeline all day, every day, I'm going to mute you. Get a life. And that's coming from me, as Greg Stalker has told me to get a life and get off Twitter. Who am I to be sitting here throwing stones?
Get off Twitter when the girls come. All right,
exactly.
By the way, you did a good job not tweeting a lot this weekend.
I was golfing.
Golfing. It was exhausted.
You don't. On the other hand, we need to have a talk about how much.
No, you're not going to put her in the Kale camp. Are you?
I mean,
making machine.
Enough with the tweeting from both of you. Like enough, please.
When they start tweeting about
who cares
for liberty,
who cares?
I know, but I get a little triggered.
I'm paying you to be on this radio and give your opinions here, not on Twitter. Thank you. I'm salty today. I get it. I'm salty. I'm throwing grenades. I'm throwing grenades. This is
friendly fire.
This is a radio show. We can't all be like, oh yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. We need some grenades thrown in here. Anyway.
We got Yevgeny Stalker causing a rising up against the Putins.
And I'm fine to take the bullets for you two.
Are you joining
I'm fine to take the bullets.
Are you a part of the Wagner militia? Wagner Stalker.
I'm not throwing grenades. I'm throwing truth bombs.
I'm a mercenary. I'm a mercenary. And look, if people have to come after me to protect you too, that's what I do.
Thank you.
Anyway, here we go.
Baby.
Let's go on.
Added over 13 million jobs since the beginning of his presidency. When he took over, our democracy was in shambles. We were in the middle of a pandemic. People were dying. Now we've emerged from that. The economy is moving forward. manufacturing in our own nation, made in America, is resurging. We finally got veterans health care done for those stationed next to burn pits. We've united our allies when it comes to Ukraine. We've finally taken on the pharmaceutical companies, despite everyone talking about it, and passed a version of my bill which allows Medicare to negotiate for lower prices for our seniors. Those aren't small accomplishments. Those are big deal things.
I want to ask you before you go, I brought up the state dinner. Do you think it was appropriate for Hunter Biden to be at the same event as the Attorney General Merrick Garland was in the same week he accepted a plea deal?
You know, I think as the president explains, that's his son. That's a separate thing. And I would like to say about that. That decision was made by an independent prosecutor who is a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney who had 10 years of experience, well-respected. Philadelphia Inquirer reported that he was a registered Republican. He looked at the facts and evidence and made that decision. And by the way, if that's what the Republicans want to run on in the coming election, good luck, because the president is going to be able to run on the strength of his work in bringing 13 million jobs back to America, in resurging manufacturing in our country, and in moving forward.
Oh, my
You understand
God.
the perception issue of something like that, though?
I do.
And do you wish that perception were different?
You always wish there were different perceptions, but that's not reality. Reality is whether or not someone is going to be able to get their insulin, and the president has made changes. Reality is whether someone has a job. Reality is when they can go visit their grandma again in an assisted living. Those are people's realities, not who is sitting where at a state dinner.
She makes me yearn for Elizabeth Warren. My God, was that painful. Two things that I want to react to off of that. Number one, her comment on the economy. The economy is moving forward, she says. Yeah, and leaving a lot of people behind, as people can't afford to keep up with all of their utilities and their air conditioning bills this summer and things like that. That's number one. But as far as the Hunter Biden, Merrick Garland, that is a terrible, terrible look. Like, if it was me, I would say, hey, Hunter, we're going to put you in mothballs for a while. You're going on ice, bro. Just stay away from any camera for a but give me 6 months.
I agree with you. Like, what a bad, whoever the PR person was, was like, no.
Total
He
PR
needs to stay
disaster.
home. He needs to stay away. Like, it's ridiculous that this is even a question. I do agree with her on one point, though, that yes, the majority of people do not give a flying S if Hunter Biden is at a state dinner. Most people don't know.
Right.
So I do agree with her on that, but her, it was such a bad look for the Democrats.
She also mentioned some of the economical stuff. And there was a story about how Joe Biden, and one of the things that could be kind of like his secret way to get reelected, one key issue that's a sleeper issue that nobody's talking about, is junk fees. And I teased that earlier in the show, and we didn't get to it, but I said something to the effect of junk fee Joe.
Yeah.
So, like, Joe Biden's been calling out these ridiculous surcharges that some of these like, if that's the ultimate, like, make or break for Joe getting reelected, is that not a sad state of American politics?
Who wrote that?
That was the Daily Beast.
The Daily Beast wrote that.
Yes.
So they're thinking that's his big sleeper issue for 2024? Like, really?
Which, like,
People
okay,
it's a great bipartisan thing. Nobody likes junk fees.
Nobody wants to pay extra nonsense.
Absolutely.
Right.
But to think that anybody is voting or casting a vote or is going to be compelled to come out and vote because of junk fees is ridiculous. And that advanced person or that campaign person should be should be fired.
If there are 40 issues out there, that's probably number 42 that people care about.
By the way, she mentioned insulin.
Yes.
Because he wanted to, quote unquote, cap the price of insulin. But for type 1 diabetics, like my teenage son, newly diagnosed during the pandemic, that does not, the price of insulin has skyrocketed. So, yes, they did get it through Medicare as far as mostly type 2 diabetics or anybody over a certain age for senior citizens.
Yeah.
But that does not help those type 1 diabetics who have this and will die without this. And the fact that we in America allow this, that we allow a drug, a life-saving drug that people will die without it. Think about that. And it's 10 times the price of anywhere else in the world.
To steal a word or phrase from you, it's a sin.
It is a sin.
My dad was the type 1 diabetic.
By the way, we're 2 likes away from 100. We're at 98 right now. If you're watching right now on YouTube, please hit the like button so we can get to 100 likes. Thank you very much. There's over 200 people watching and only 98 likes.
Let's go.
Eagles One fangirl on Twitter, Dawn, says, a word of advice, she's speaking to me, never ever call a woman darling when in a spirited debate. I was waiting for Dawn Stensland to come out of her booth and grab you in a headlock.
Eagles! Stensland stalker.
That's not what triggers me.
You guys could be the undercard for Elon and Zuck.
I'm not fighting with Dawn. I like spirited debate on the radio. I don't care one way or another.
The tail of the tape.
Yeah.
Stalker 6'1".
All right. One thing that will all unite us is that Kamala Harris is an idiot. She was talking about her mama and mother. Dawn, I don't want to.
Well, did she say mama?
No.
Mama Bear?
No. I don't want to offend Mama Bears. She was talking about her mother, and of course, when speaking of somebody, she uses the phrase that she uses all the time because she can't think of anything else.
Okay.
She understood what was possible, unburdened by what has been.
I've got breaking news for you guys, because Stalker sends the cut sheet out after dinner, and I read just a little preview and see who's going to be on the cut sheet so I can promote it in our teaser tweet before I go to bed. So I actually now understand. I've actually found a way to apply that ridiculous, head-scratching quote of being not can we hear it again?
Yeah, sure.
Let me just hear it one more time.
One more time. I'm going to start at the very beginning.
Okay,
here, Daniel.
She understood what was possible, unburdened by what has been.
Understand what is possible, unburdened by what has been.
Yep.
I'm going to apply this in my golf life moving forward. When I go up to the second tee box, I will know what is possible. It is possible for me to birdie the second hole.
It is possible.
If I'm unburdened by the fact that I just put up an 8 on the last hole. Understanding what is possible, unburdened by what has been in the past. The past is the past. If you sucked on the last hole, you could still do very good on the next hole.
Yep.
Could you repeat that?
No, my head hurts.
If you sucked on the last hole, what do you have to do on the future hole?
Be good. Just because you got off to a bad start doesn't mean you can not necessarily have a good finish.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't think he understands what you're trying to say.
No, I understand. Oh, boy. This is where we just laugh.
You bring up a great point, though, with Kamala, and you make me think about something, and that is that...
Career change? I've had enough of Kamala and that Kayal guy.
But to your point, so let's say the Democrats are looking out there and thinking, okay, what would we do if we had to, if these polls remain low and we think at some point whoever's the Republican's going to beat him, they have to deal with the Kamala factor. So they have to factor that in. So they have to think, okay, so if Biden resigns and claims health reasons, then Kamala comes in and then she gets primaried. Is that how that would work? So they have to figure out. I think they're probably looking at all these different scenarios to figure out how they get rid of Kamala.
There's a lot
deal with the Kamala factor.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation yesterday that at the golf course that we're not going to end up with the two guys that we expect head to head in the election.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories out there like that.
I'm not sure that I agree with that. I think if I had to make a bet at this moment,
I don't know if I agree with that.
I would still go with the chalk.
Agreed, but you know that the Democrats have every scenario. They have like brackets as if it's their team and
in their war room they have all the possibilities on their board.
They're giving Joe Biden drinks, that are with smoke coming out of them. Like, here, drink this, buddy.
Oh gosh.
This will help with your cough.
Yikes.
And then giving Kamala the same one too. Like, oops, I don't know what happened. It must have been something that went around there in the White House.
Joe, this is just a hot cup of herbal tea.
The hell with that.
Speaking at the Faith and Freedom Coalition, Chris Christie.
Oh, hold on a second.
Sloppy Chris Christie.
Started criticizing Trump, and the crowd was having none of it. So Chris Christie giving some advice to Trump as a candidate and people who vote for him.
Beware, everybody, of a leader who never makes mistakes. Beware of a leader who has no faults. Beware of a leader who says that when something goes wrong, it's everybody else's fault.
By the way,
yes.
Let me just say something real fast. You know, as long as we're throwing giant stones here.
Yeah.
When the whole Bridgegate thing happened, and even I will admit that was much ado about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Chris Christie throw a certain woman, Dawn Stensland, under the bus for that whole thing?
Oh, I think so.
Where he didn't take any blame for that whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn, am I getting my facts correct on this? That he took no blame for that whatsoever and threw his one of his right-hand women right under the bus for that whole thing.
Yes, and you're referring to in the Fort Lee lane closure
Thank you.
scandal.
Yes. Yeah.
And so for the thing
Bridget
with
Ann Kelly, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
the thing with Bridget Ann Kelly was that she fought it. She fought everything
Yeah.
as a single mom, right? And had even said to her ex-husband, you got to take the 3 kids. And so she fought it successfully, and that's why it was overturned in the Supreme Court. And then I have to have her back on because I'm so triggered this morning. Remember, she was on, I think, my first show when the Dawn shows.
Yeah.
And then she said that Chris Christie got a seat in front of her when the Supreme Court, when SCOTUS overturned that whole thing. And so because of her fight, because she battled this and said, no, this was wrong, Chris Christie was exonerated thanks to her, never said a word to her, let her be thrown under the bus after he allegedly threw a water bottle at her head in the office when she was a loyal employee.
Yeah, what's up with people throwing full bottles of water? It's one thing if you throw the empty bottle.
I have to have Bridget back.
Newman Price says, beware of a leader with a natural fanny pack in the front.
I was going to say a counterpoint. Beware of a leader that has no following.
Yeah,
or a base.
Newman Price, if we had a Who on YouTube, you just want YouTube. All right, we continue with the Gov.
And he goes and he blames those people for anything that goes wrong, but when things go right, everything is to his credit.
Which, by the way, I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep stopping this, which, by the way, is what most leaders do.
Yes.
I mean, of course, you take credit.
It was all me.
Yes.
It was all part of my plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's almost like Chris Christie's in politics, but he's trying to say that he doesn't want to play politics.
You get credit when stuff goes your way when you're in office and you take the blame. Even it doesn't matter if it's your fault or if it's not. That's just the way politics and, by the way, most companies work.
Right.
CEOs get these golden parachutes and these golden, these bonuses. If the company does, they have very little to do with it except hiring the right people.
Well, my typical advice has been don't get in the mud with Trump unless he comes after you. But when your whole campaign, and I'm talking about Chris Christie here, is built around and advertised as the one guy that can go toe-to-toe in a debate with Trump is me. Like, dude, you're taking the bait.
Yep.
I mean, you have no following anyway. You're polling at 3%, 4%, whatever it might be, and maybe that's even generous at this point. You think you're actually going to win anybody over by going after Trump?
Yeah,
probably not.
The pouch continues.
Now, there are a lot of people.
Getting heckled already.
A lot of people who wonder. After I was the first candidate to endorse Donald Trump in 2016, the very first. After he made me chairman of his transition, after he made me chairman of his opioid and drug abuse commission, after, and this one will keep you up at night, everybody, after I played Hillary Clinton in debate prep. You won't be able to sleep thinking about that one tonight. And after I played Joe Biden in debate prep in 2020, why am I running for president of the United States? I'm running because he's let us down.
Not doing much running.
He has let us down because he's unwilling. He's unwilling to take responsibility for any of the mistakes that were made. any of the faults that he has and any of the things that he's done. And that is not leadership, everybody. That is a failure of leadership. And you can boo all you want. But here's the thing.
Wow.
Our faith teaches us that people have to take responsibility for what they do. People have to stand up and take accountability for what they do.
And by the way, Daniel, if you could right now, if you could put the picture of Chris Christie sleeping up again, that would be fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, as I've said, his speech he doesn't invigorate me. I don't like the delivery. And how about him taking the little shot there? Oh, you can boo all you want. It sounds like he's cutting a promo for like WWE, and the crowd's giving him the business. Oh, you can boo all you want.
What were they chanting?
It was if you watch the video, if you're watching on YouTube, if you watch the video, it's a bunch of people who like have Trump hats on and they were just yelling, booing and yelling at him.
How about him saying, I aided Trump in his first transition? I never knew Trump made a transition. How about that? Donna Trump.
On CNN's State of the Union, Secretary of State Antony Blinken was all over this Sunday shows. We spoke last week about Joe Biden calling Xi Jinping a dictator, right?
Yep.
And even though it was like the same day or the day after that Antony Blinken met with him, nothing like
ease the tension.
throwing your people right under the bus. Speaking of that. But Dana Bash asked, do you believe Xi Jinping is a dictator? And this is what he said.
Do you believe that Xi Jinping is a dictator?
The president speaks clearly. He speaks candidly. I've worked for him for more than 20 years, and he speaks for all of us.
Wow.
Translation, I busted my ass to repair and mend the fences in China, and my boss obliterated it before I landed back in the States.
That's exactly what happened.
Jeez.
That's exactly what happened. You will go out there and you won't say anything bad, but you will just take one for the team because that's what the job requires.
It's amazing to me that if you think about this, Trump was supposedly Putin's little puppet, right? They were a boy. So if you're going to use that logic, and it's obviously we find out that's not true, what does that make Joe Biden to Xi? Probably a word I can't use on the radio without getting in trouble. Mm-hmm. And they don't ever talk about it. They never say, this president is in debt to China. This president is scared of Xi. And that's why we are so soft on that nation. Setting up shop in Cuba. Trump would. Can you imagine if they tried to do that with Trump?
Well, I'm glad you went there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
No. This is This brings me into the next clip I have. He was also, Secretary of State was also on Meet the Press and talking about China building a military spying base in Cuba, and this is what he said.
Are we going to prevent China from having a military base on the island of Cuba?
We have been not only looking, but also engaging in a number of countries over the last couple of years where China's trying to get a foothold, and we've been engaged diplomatically in a number of places, and we've had some success in either preventing that, delaying that, or turning that around. We continue to do that. I've raised that directly with my Chinese counterparts. They know where we stand on that issue.
I noticed you say you raised it with your Chinese counterparts. We have no relations still with Cuba. I mean, this decision to pull back relations with Cuba, did we not just throw them into the arms of the Chinese?
No, we actually have raised this with the Cubans as well. So they also, for them, there's no secret about the concerns that we have and the fact that we're watching this very carefully.
Are we going to make sure it doesn't happen? Is this a line in the sand?
Again, we've made clear that this is a real concern, and as I said, in a variety of places where China's tried to get a foothold militarily or with intelligence, we've been not only looking at that, we've been taking action to try to push back, and we've had some success.
So I want you guys to think about this. All of the audience right now, I'm going to give you the last 4 presidents and invasions that have happened. And this just goes to show you how weak Joe is with China and how strong and stern Trump actually was with Russia, even though the media tried to say he was a puppet. So G.W. Bush let Putin invade Georgia, okay? That's number one. Barack Obama let Putin invade Crimea, and Joe Biden let Putin invade Ukraine. Meanwhile, Donald Trump didn't let Putin do jack squat. I rest my case.
Trump was also at the Faith and Freedom Coalition and asked about, he spoke about this whole thing, and this is what he said he would do if he were in office.
It's incredible that this can be allowed to happen. So unless I get back in which case I will inform China that they have 48 hours to get any military and spy equipment out of Cuba. Or I will drop the hammer, and there will be tariffs unlike anything that China's ever seen before. And, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars of taxes and tariffs from China. No other president has taken in 10 cents, not 10 cents.
I don't know if he could do it in 48 hours, but I do believe he would get it done relatively quickly. I don't know that he would end Russia and Ukraine in 24 hours, but I do think he would end it relatively quickly. It's really remarkable the way, and I got to imagine it's not so much the ruling with an iron fist mentality. It's the business background. It's, relationships. It's talking to people. It's selling yourself, and what we're going to do if you don't, go along with it. I mean, I think, Dawn, you've said it, the art of the deal. Like, I'm not sure that I don't know that it'll ever go down where he got enough credit for some of the deals that he was able to broker.
No. Well, he'll never get credit in the mainstream media, that's for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think he'll ever get credit for that. And even when you look at, when I say the words, he brought us unprecedented peace and prosperity, all these people come out and quote post-pandemic. Obviously, I'm talking, the peace, yes, but the prosperity piece of it, obviously, the pandemic changed the face of everything.
Yeah.
And the spending and all of that.
Yeah, you're talking about 17, 18, 19. Yeah.
But immediately fact checkers will always put in there, they'll put in the pandemic dollars. And yes, was there huge government spending? Yes. Well, what were we supposed to do? We were being told, this is a worldwide deadly pandemic that killed millions around the world, But I was talking about the policies that created an unprecedented time. And we can just take a moment and pause.
All you got to do is
celebrate that time.
I'd like to enter evidence of my 401k. This is Exhibit 1.
Bring it up.
Yeah. This was 25% better a handful of years ago. So
I think we'll stop there.
All right.
We'll do more at 9:45.
8:31. It is a Monday morning on Kayal and Company, and we get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 8.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal and Company.
And Big 3 at 8, sponsored by Malvern Retreat House. So I will update you on something about, since you brought up Bridget Ann Kelly and Bridget Gate. State of New Jersey reimbursed Bridget Ann Kelly, her attorneys actually, for $7.25 million worth of legal fees that her attorneys incurred. In other words, they didn't charge her up front. But she was fighting that federal conviction for her alleged role in the Bridgegate traffic jam scandal, which eventually was reversed by the United States Supreme Court. So just to refresh your memory, Bridget Ann Kelly served as Deputy Chief of Staff for former Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey when that scandal broke, and said her attorneys were entitled to get paid so that the money all doesn't go to her. It goes to cover the attorney's fees. Obviously, so she was exonerated, as well as Chris Christie, as well as Bill Baroni, who was somebody that Rizzioli grew up with. Remember this. Baroni went to prison. So he tried to plead out and ultimately was in prison. And so the fact that Bridget Ann Kelly, a mom of 3 kids, underage kids, fought it. And Michael Critchley, her attorney, I don't think I talked to him, remember, during the Katie hearings in New Jersey. If Greg remembers that at that time. And Michael had said, I think we've got some movement here. And we broke that story here on PHT as Critchley really thought that this was going to go to SCOTUS. And indeed it did. And indeed, Bridget Ann Kelly's case won, and that cleared Chris Christie. Remember when he left office? He left office as New Jersey's most unpopular governor ever. So, And there's a Philadelphia connection because, remember, on the road to trying to reverse this, it went through the Philadelphia court system, and then ultimately the federal panel in Philadelphia teed it up for the U.S. Supreme Court to take it. So it was a local story, in fact. In any event, I digress. But that was the update that New Jersey taxpayers ultimately paid that tax bill.
All right.
So the lawyers always win, and we, the taxpayers, we always lose.
Yeah, even when they lose, as long as they get paid, they won.
Yeah,
I feel like the only
true.
time a lawyer loses is when it's only one of those.
Great point.
Like if it's one of those cases where you only get compensated if you find the judgment in your behalf, then you actually take the loss because you worked hard and you got no money. But usually lawyers don't take those cases unless they think they can recover.
Yeah, well said. Well, the other big story today is stormy weather. We could see some very severe weather moving through the region. So heads up, we'll see a high of 88 degrees. And then these strong and severe thunderstorms are expected to develop later into the afternoon. So the first possibility, 3 o'clock, it looks like the worst of it between 5 and 6 p.m., which unfortunately times out with traffic. So we want to talk about that one. Greatest threats will be flash flooding, damaging wind gusts, 68 to 70 miles an hour. Isolated tornado cannot be ruled out, according to the NBC 10 meteorologist. So please be safe today. And number 3, I'll just say that there was this party in South Philadelphia with Governor Shapiro, other dignitaries congratulating all of the hard workers and hardworking road crews who got I-95 back up and running in a temporary way in an unprecedented amount of time. But guess what? The bottom line is they were told, congratulations, great job, hard work. Remember, report back to work, 7 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
So a lot of OT.
Speaking of reporting back to work, are you back to your original commute, Stalker? Can you now take the way you used to go?
Yeah, I went 95 this morning, and it was all good. It was all good. So
Pretty amazing.
Very happy to see that.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see Malvern Retreat House as our sponsor of our Big 3 at 8. Visit Malvern Retreat House, the nation's largest Catholic retreat house located in Chester County. Malvern Retreat House hosting men's and women's retreats, couples retreats, spiritual direction, recovery retreats, and much more. You want to check it out. Retreat from all the noise and hear God's voice at malvernretreat.com. Thank you, Malvern Retreat House, for sponsoring our Big 3 at 8. Kayal and Company News Live.
Thank you very much, Dawn. I heard God's voice yesterday as I was golfing on Sunday. He said, "Go home, you suck." And I went home. Oh, my God.
God would never say that.
No, you're right. You're right.
I love you, Nick Kayal.
Yes. Even if though you put up a 94.
Keep
All
hope
right.
alive.
I would have killed for a 94 yesterday, by the way. 855-839-1210 is the number. Still ahead this morning. Pride events in Seattle and New York. The tale of the tape as we get closer to potentially a big fight between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. And then also Disney's flop. But when we come back, a couple of minutes on Russia. It's Kayal and Company. Stay there. We're back after this.
Businesses to watch. Armin Chevrolet's sizzling summer sell-down has arrived. Armin's leasing a new 7-passenger Traverse for only $244 per month. 24 months, 10,000 miles per year. A new Armin Traverse for only $244 per month. Armin Chevrolet, celebrating our 23rd anniversary, selling the full lineup of award-winning Chevrolets. Find new roads to Armin Chevrolet. Visit ArminChevy.com, where dealership meets friendship. MSRP $35,615, tax bank fee of $39.99, down payment due at signing. Requires currently household major bank approval on 7/31/23.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June means Men's Health Month for Rescue Natural Supplements. We all know how demanding life can be. When juggling work, family, and personal commitments, you need energy and optimal health. So fear not, because Rescue Men's Health Supplements are here for you. For the month of June, save 50% on the products that guys need most. That's half off on testosterone boosters, prostate support, and more. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate. No code is needed to get 50% off. Just call a Rescue Product Consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. res-q.com. It's not just your physical health. Men's supplements can help your mental well-being too. Again, no code is needed to get 50% off on Rescue Men's Health favorites. Shop res-q.com today. res-q.com.
Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra, July 15th at the Ocean City Music Pier and July 22nd at Wildwood Catholic High School. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
I don't want to go to bed at night dreading waking up in the morning knowing that I'm going to feel like a rusty lawn chair getting out of bed and getting opened up and not being able to really move for a couple hours really throughout the day.
For former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter and those dealing with daily aches and pains, QC Kinetics regenerative pain treatments are a game changer, providing long-lasting relief.
Go into a specific joint, a specific region, and then help promote that healing process using your own body's mechanisms to heal. I mean, that's been something that's pretty powerful, and there's no surgery, there's no downtime.
QC Kinetics natural treatments help the body heal and restore itself. No more rusty lawn chair.
It's no surprise to see people being willing to try this first, especially when it has such great results.
Pain relief the natural way. QC Kinetics. Call today for your complimentary consultation. Find out if you're a good candidate for treatment.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Welcome back in. Kayal and Company rolling on live here on this Monday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. You can always stream us live on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. And also don't forget, closing in on about 3 weeks until we get toward our Bend to Shore bike ride, which is going to be interesting. I'm going to try to get the bike and all of the equipment within the, and I'm equipment meaning helmet, the tights, the spandex, the shoes, the whole bit, probably the week of 4th of July, because I'll be off for the 4th of July week. And if I can get that bike secured and start doing the training ramp up, build up, give me like 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks. It'll be a slow build, and I think I can get to the point where I'm going to finish this thing with ease. That's right.
It's tough.
I'm going to prove all of Stalker's relatives wrong.
You have to set up low expectations. I would go with that. Set up low expectations and then exceed everybody's expectation. It's tough. And depending on the weather, because you're doing the 65.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to tell you, if it's like it is right now, 87 with that real thick humidity, that's going to be tough.
Here's the thing I would say, whether anybody does the virtual, the 65, or the 35, is that they have stop points. They have a ton of stop points with water, or people who can help if you have a flat tire, or if you just say, you know what, I need a lift.
Yeah.
They have it all.
It's like you brought up the NASCAR race. It's like a pit crew.
Yeah.
You pull over, and you got people that can do everything that you need, right? Yeah. Stretch you out, fix your tires, give you a water.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I went to the chiropractor a couple of days ago on Thursday, and the chiropractor that listens to the station, you know who I'm talking about, and he says, make sure you start ramping up your hydration like a week in advance.
Smart.
I'm like, I drink 100 ounces of alkaline water a day. Any more hydrated, I'm going to have like a bladder issue.
That's true.
When I go to the bathroom 12 times a day as it is now, can't add much more water. All right, 855-839-1210. Let's get to the Russia story and what's going on there. It's very interesting, and I won't pretend to be an expert on military uprisings within another nation, but over the weekend, this was obviously a big story with the Russian invasion of Russia turning out to be perhaps more successful than Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We're well over, 15 months into the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And after all of this has played out, Russian forces have been really bogged down by a combination of infighting, corruption, incompetence. And yet, this was written by the New York Post on Saturday. So they're referring to Friday, which would have been yesterday, this rebellion by the Wagner militia. I believe it's spelled Wagner, but pronounced like it's a V instead of a W, being perhaps the most significant challenge to Vladimir Putin in Vladimir Putin's reign that has been going on for this century, right? He's been there for 23 years. And this, there's two elements to this. There's what America has done from a military aid, financial aid standpoint to Zelensky, $6.2 billion here, $1.3 billion there. And honestly, it's pretty embarrassing. And I'm not naive enough to think that our assistance did not have a major impact in Ukraine being able to fight this battle as long as they have. And also on that front, what is really annoying is when the mainstream media attacks Republicans and says that Republicans are against helping Ukraine. I don't think there's a lot of Republicans out there that are vehemently opposed to helping out Ukraine. Nobody wants to see Putin steamroll Ukraine and try to reestablish the Soviet Union, for God's sakes. But it's we get critical because of the unlimited spending. And what's the end goal? When does this thing end? Because if it's anything like the Biden administration's withdrawal from Afghanistan, it's going to be an unmitigated disaster. But getting back to this, and you have Putin's former ally, Yevgeny Prigozhin. I don't even know how you pronounce these guys' names. They sound like Prigozhin.
Yep.
Sound like somebody that the Flyers would pick up in the seventh round of an NHL draft. But anyway, this is going on. And I said this to you guys in my group text last night as I'm reading about this. And my first reaction over the weekend was, am I out of line? And if you think I'm crazy, by all means, I have thick skin. I'm not offended by anything. Could you see something like this with the way our country is going? And I'm not saying in the next year or two. But could you see one of these uprisings of a militia group doing what they're trying to do to Putin happening in the United States of America? Because to be honest, I really don't care if there's an uprising against Russia. I don't care if there's an uprising against China. That'd be great because Putin and Xi are dictators and there's a lot of evil on this planet, from North Korea to Russia to China. And let's also, we talk about the word dictator. You heard that in the cut sheet earlier this morning. Let's be real. Zelensky's a dictator, okay? Zelensky, look up his bio and everything that he has done in his time as president. Zelensky's not some choir boy. I know the mainstream media makes it seem like, Zelensky's the one being bullied by Russia. This guy, let's just call it what he is. He's corrupt too, all right? But did you pay attention to any of this over the weekend as far as the news cycle goes, the way it was covered? Because you've got this Yevgeny character, and which, by the way, when you see the pictures of him, doesn't he just look like the typical guy that would create this military uprising? He looks like, if you look into his eyes and you look into his face, he looks like death personified. He just looks like a dude that you don't want to mess with. So I don't know if you have any thoughts or reactions from what played out over the weekend, but I did have that thought enter my mind, with the way things are going globally right now, it just seems like, and I'm not one of these guys that plays to fear-mongering and fear porn and banging the drum for panic. It's just, but I do believe this, these tensions that we talk about, rising tensions, TV headline, tensions escalating. Whether it's Russia, whether it's China, whether it's the United States, it feels like a very unsettling time. And I think that's something that Trump has made a really good point of when he was doing his thing this past weekend. I mean, it seems like, it could all go to hell in a handbasket very quickly.
Well, this is Joe Biden's world. I mean, you didn't see any of these groups acting up. We didn't know who Prigozhin. Did we know who Prigozhin even was during the Trump era? Right, and he's this founder of and this bombastic leader. They're all writing about him. Russia's private military group. Da 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 da. I mean, nobody knew who this guy was for a reason when Trump was the president. Now it's like the whole world is in disarray. As far as this goes, my question was, because I saw people on social media saying, oh, good, this is good for Ukraine. But ultimately, Putin is the dictator we know. You might hate him, but we know him. We've dealt with him, like you said, 23 years. Mm-hmm. And so they know how to negotiate with him. They have known him for many years. The fact that you get somebody in, what if they're more of a hardliner, et cetera? And we've seen that.
This is the devil you know versus the devil you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there's that piece of it. And also the fact that, don't worry, he's now Prigozhin and his Wagner group, they took a deal and they're in Belarus. Well, who orchestrated all of this? And then you see China and who is China backing? China allying with Russia. I don't know. It just all makes me very nervous.
Well, you get the feeling that it's like the recreation of the axis of evil. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, because and to your point, the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. I think we have quickly realized here in just over a year that Russia, and a lot of this has to do with the United States and the backing of Ukraine, because probably without that backing, he probably does steamroll the Ukrainians. But, even though there is escalating tension, Russia comes off not remotely as much of a threat as I thought they could be.
Well, I think it obviously illustrates that Putin is not popular, and he's led his country into this costly war. It's embarrassing. And it's showing all of their weaknesses, to your point. And so, year and a half later, the Russian people, and they're not in a wealthy situation. And the worldwide economy, we all feel inflation. We're in America, we're spoiled. When we say we feel inflation, we probably cannot imagine the life that people are leading in places like Russia and communist Russia, et cetera.
Yes.
So I just think the people there are suffering, and they're tired, they're weary, and also from a pride standpoint, and just from a resources standpoint, this is breaking them. Mm-hmm. And that's where Biden, I think, came out. His administration has come out and said, well, see, this is working. We're going to break Russia. But on the other hand, I think, it strengthens Ukraine, but does it strengthens China position to support Russia? Mm-hmm. And then that is concerning.
Yes. What is also concerning, and the reason I brought the United States into the conversation, and I used words like escalating tensions, did you see, I'm assuming you did see this, Don, because I saw Larry was tweeting about it. When I got home Sunday after golf, as the monsoon's just going on and it's pouring out, I'm seeing the videos of what I believe was some sort of, I don't know if it was a rally or what it was.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I retweeted it.
Yeah, and essentially what is going on here is Adam Kinzinger, that little skunk, he tweets out a thought and a tweet in regards to this video in which it looks like, and I don't know what the name of the group is, but they rip off the masks of these guys that were trying to antagonize a big fight. And these are a bunch of Republicans and Trump supporters. They've got American flags, the whole bit. And Adam Kinzinger says these people, all blue checks, are celebrating a seemingly MAGA assault on federal officers. Now, I don't know what this really is, but take a gander at the comments of the patriots who love America, to which many people on social media were like, Adam, did you just say the quiet part out loud? Are these federal officers undercover trying to instigate to further a political agenda and make it out to seem like conservatives and Republicans are angry, violent, evil people, because once these masks get ripped off of these two guys' faces, many people are wondering, okay, what exactly is going on here? Is this federal agents trying to do what I just said? Is this Antifa? Could this be, and this is just my thought, could this be staged by the right? And I'm so tired of like these, who's there, who are they aligned with, and what's their motive? Because I'm of the belief that a lot of this is meant to divide and distract, and the real stuff that we should be focused on, we're totally oblivious to, is kind of like the global 1% of the elites gobble up more of the wealth of this world, which is what the pandemic was about. But did you have any thoughts on this? Because the video to me is pretty telling. And then apparently, and again, I try to take all of this with a grain of salt because the internet, especially social media, you don't know what's real and what's not. But the two guys that had their masks yanked off apparently are like left-wing agitators from California. And their social media pictures are posted by many people on social media saying, see, those guys that had their masks yanked off, these guys are completely there to trigger basically a brawl. So I don't know if you saw that. I know Larry was tweeting about it yesterday. I can't arrive at one conclusion as to who the hell these people are or what it is, but it's just it was something that was going viral much yesterday.
Yeah, and so I guess they were holding this pro-American rally.
Right.
And this one was Portland, Oregon. Is that right? This one was Portland, Oregon?
Okay.
Or was there one? I mean, Kinzinger is from Illinois, so I don't know if there was also one in Illinois. But Kinzinger, I think what the fascinating piece of it to me is that Adam Kinzinger, I can't say his name, who, as we know, was one of the, and I say in air quotes, Republicans, who was, of course, up there with Liz Cheney on the January 6th panel, right?
I don't like him.
And so what's fascinating is he assumes that the infiltrators are feds.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is fascinating. If you watch it about a minute and a half to a minute 50 in, that's what, because they're chanting demask, demask. So
Right.
These are folks just saying, hey, we're for America, and they've got American flags, and it's a beautiful day, and the community is out. All of a sudden, these guys who all have like khaki pants and dark colored jackets, like a uniform, and then they have some Nazi hats and Nazi jackets and so on, but they have a full like face mask.
Yeah.
So then the pro-American so-called group, nobody's masked, push back and say, hey, we don't want you here, you racist. And by the way, they're a mixed ethnic group, I think, right? Because there's clearly one of the biggest guys is an African-American guy with the pro-American rally.
Like, if you're going to be there, then show your face.
They're just saying demask, demask. Yeah, and you're not. These guys are not with us.
Which is what you should do when these guys show up with these agendas.
These infiltrators.
Don't commit assault. Just yank that mask off and identify those guys.
So they're pushing back, and then you see them. And the interesting thing to me, Nick, is when the reaction. So when they go demask and they're trying to pull these full face masks off these guys' faces, when they do, the guys immediately like put their hands over their face.
Yeah.
And so then they were, and you can look up, so people were they were tracking them. One guy was, what was he, like a professor somewhere? But some of them, nobody's IDing. So were there feds? We don't know.
Yep. Chris Eppolito says on Twitter, I'm convinced at this point Kinzinger is doing whatever is necessary to appear to be relevant. Being a resource for CNN just doesn't have the bravado that he hoped.
Ha. Good one.
Yes.
But I think for anybody, I love the fact that, if you're in any kind of a group, just any group that shows up with full face masks on, make sure that those folks don't represent you, whatever you're doing.
Right.
It's never good.
I agree.
And in Philadelphia, even we're trying to outlaw these full face masks for other reasons, for criminal reasons.
That's correct.
I just think we got to demask.
See what masks caused? See what masks created? Damn you, CDC. 855-839-1210. Coming up in the final hour, Disney is close to losing $1 billion in their last 8 movies. We'll also get a little bit more into Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, and also these Pride celebrations that went crazy in New York and in the Pacific Northwest. But first, Don Stenzelin with a word for QC Kinetics.
Just don't give in to that constant joint pain. Sometimes you say, oh, I'm so used to it. I'm just used to living with it. Take back your quality of life today with help from my friends at QC Kinetics. Yeah, QC Kinetics is really helping people every single day right here in the Philadelphia region and, by the way, across the nation with their amazing non-surgical treatments that repair and restore your damaged joint tissue. So here's the thing. They use the latest advances in regenerative medicine, taking your body's own healing agents and then concentrating them in the laboratory. And this is what I love about it. And I was at the lab in the King of Prussia, QC Kinetics. So it's all in-house. It's one-stop shopping. The doctor's there, the laboratory, everybody is in there. And by the way, they always have an amazing spread with coffee and all kinds of goodies and stuff. But it's really all in-house. And that's what I love, all under one roof. So they take your body's own healing agents, concentrate them right in their own lab, and then they reinsert them into the area where you're suffering with that agonizing pain. It's incredible. It's non-invasive. It's an approach that you're going to love, but it helps you take back control of your own body, relieving the pain in your knees or your aching hips, your shoulder or your back. No invasive surgery, no harmful drugs, and that's important here. No downtime, no steroids. Summertime needs to be about having fun, making the memories that you deserve, golfing, hiking, sporting events, enjoying the outdoors, taking control now, and start living pain-free again. Call now for your free consultation with QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000. Would you just call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000? Tell them Dawn sent you.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, Costco members have a $2,500 incentive on the purchase or lease of an electric Volvo. There is a $1,000 incentive on all gas and hybrid 2023 models. Explore this safe and versatile 2023 XC90 and take advantage of special financing, a rate of under 5%. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo for a full list of extraordinary offers for both new and previously owned Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit us now. We have the inventory and we have competitive offers.
It's Jeep 4x4 season. Make your next adventure epic and hurry in now for great deals. And now well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE for $349 a month for 24 months with $5,399 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 20,000. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 7/5/23. Jeep is a registered trademark.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210. Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com. Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Do you want a beautiful home that's easy to maintain? I've been telling you about a great company that does just that. John Gilgee is here to tell you in his own words. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield, reminding you that spring is here and Rhino Shield is ready to help you paint your home for the last time. Our permanent exterior house paint is not ordinary paint. It's a ceramic house coating that goes on like paint and looks like paint, but is guaranteed for 25 years. If your home's exterior isn't looking as good as you'd like, Rhino Shield is the solution you've been looking for. It's affordable because you only have to paint one last time, and it protects your home with a durable and waterproof coating that goes on any exterior surface. Find out why so many of your neighbors are choosing the permanent paint solution from Rhino Shield by calling to schedule your free estimate today at 844-RHINO-99. That's 844-744-6699.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchik, PNC Bank Regional President. This month, PNC Arts Alive is proud to welcome our 2023 grantees to a group of more than 90 arts organizations that have benefited from funding over the past 15 years. Through PNC Arts Alive, we have contributed more than $15 million and brought 300 arts programs to life for millions of audience members. We applaud our 2023 Arts Alive grant recipients and the entire Delaware Valley arts and cultural community. Be a part of art. Learn more at pncartsalive.com. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Kelly from Emmons Roofing and Siding, and I have some exciting news to share. Emmons has partnered with SunPower, the top-rated home solar company in New Jersey. SunPower has been leading the solar industry for over 37 years and is the only U.S. solar company that's lasted longer than their 25-year warranty. Kill the bill. The energy bill, that is. Imagine no more high energy bills, while all the while helping reduce your carbon footprint at no cost to you. It's a win-win. Yes, we now offer solar, but remember, if you need a new roof, siding, doors, windows, or interior remodeling, don't wait. Right now, Emmons is offering all 1210 listeners 10% off roofing, siding, and Anderson windows. And we are continuing to offer 12-month same-as cash financing. And don't forget that lifetime warranty on your roof. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 856-885-6677, emmonsroofing.com. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, kitchens, baths, and solar. Trust Emmons to be your first and last stop for all your home improvement needs. emmonsroofing.com.
Find great hires fast with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
All right, Kayal and Company, as we continue, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, always live on the free Odyssey app, and of course you can watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. A lot of good stories coming up, a few of which I found courtesy of the DuckDuckGo app as I was doing some show prep over the weekend, because with DuckDuckGo, I don't want to be tracked. I don't want to be spied on every time. And, you know, you fire up your old Google Chrome or any browser and app, and it gets a little annoying because you know they're tracking you. And so I've decided to start using the DuckDuckGo app, as many of you already do. It's also the #2 mobile search engine in the U.S., the U.K., Canada, Australia, and more. And they're going to put a stop to all of those ridiculous tracking devices, spyware, malware. So it's now my go-to app of choice. And I got to tell you, very easy from a show prep standpoint. And I don't have to worry about anything like what I look up for the show showing up on a golf website. So I encourage you guys to check it out. It's available on Android, iOS, Windows, and Mac. Download today for free in the App Store or visit DuckDuckGo.com. And some of those stories that I found courtesy of their app that we will get into here in a couple of minutes include Disney and also the Pride celebrations yesterday that were really, really embarrassing and triggering, especially the one in Seattle, which we will get to in just a little bit. Still ahead this morning, Morning Mystery Movie Clip is coming up at 9:20. We'll get to Dawn's Big Three at 9 here in about 7 or 8 minutes. And also, what is on the cut sheet part due, what's on tap for the Dawn Show, and who won Twitter today. But I got to tell you, a lot of people are really excited about the possibility, and we talked about it a lot on Friday, of a potential, I guess we would call it a UFC MMA fight between Twitter and Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, Instagram, and everything else that he meddles in, including elections by censoring stories like the Hunter Biden laptop story, courtesy of the New York Post. And I know Dawn is on the Elon Musk train.
Yes.
Because he's bigger. So I actually have the tail of the tape here for you, so to speak.
Oh. Weighing in at, this.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
So Elon Musk is 6 feet 1 inch tall.
Okay.
Mark Zuckerberg's 5'7". Weight, Elon Musk 188, Mark Zuckerberg 154. So we have a 5'8", 5'9", 10, 5'11", 6 foot. We have about a 5 inch difference, advantage Elon, and we have a 34-pound weight advantage Elon Musk. Now the age is in Zuckerberg's favor. He is 39, Elon is 51. And for what it's worth, and it doesn't really mean anything when it comes to fighting, Elon Musk's net worth, $236 billion. That includes, I think, the $22 billion hit that he took for buying Twitter. And believe it or not, Zuckerberg, and I say only because compared to Musk, it is pretty big. Elon Musk, $236 billion, Zuckerberg, $99.9 billion. Elon's got him by just about $136 billion in net worth. But 6'1", 188, that's a pretty good size and weight combination. So I think Elon might actually, you know what, Dawn, on second thought, the more I think about this, let me use my analytical mindset for sports. And I told you I was on the Zuckerberg train for the fight, even though my heart says root for Elon. My head was Zuckerberg. But at a 5-inch disadvantage, and I got to imagine his reach, Elon Musk's reach, is much longer than Zuckerberg.
Yeah, so
and 34 pounds, I mean, if he doesn't let Zuckerberg get in on him and do any of that tricky jujitsu stuff where they use your momentum and body weight against you, Elon Musk, if assuming he trains properly, because he's 51, 51 versus 39, I think there's a difference. I know I felt a lot different at 28 than I do at 39. I might have to flip. I might go Elon here. Yeah. I might go Musk for the win.
I think, I know everybody's all impressed with Zuckerberg as a jiu-jitsu guy, but he's look at his little short little arms.
He's 5'7", 154.
But he's a petite, we were talking about this, like Mike Tyson might not be the tallest guy, but he's not, nobody would call Tyson petite.
I mean, this,
right?
Correct.
So it depends on your arm. Like Elon has those, look at him when he speaks and he outstretches his, and by the way, by most accounts, they say Elon is 6'1" or 6'1 and a half, 6'2". I don't know what's true because they're all doing all this speculating.
Yeah.
But he has this long, like wingspan, if you will.
Right.
Like his arms. So it's like those funny cartoons where you see the guy and he reaches out and just holds the little guy by the head.
Yeah, holds him back.
So it just depends. Like there are some guys who are 5'7", 5'8", who have, just a different build. Zuckerberg has these little, like these little T-Rex arms, basically.
Right.
They're like little.
He's no RFK Jr.
Exactly.
So I was thinking about this. Stalker, I got to imagine.
Yeah.
6'1",
6'2".
You're 6'2".
Yeah.
And what do you weigh? 188 about?
I haven't really weighed myself in a while. I'm somewhere between 185 and 190 something. Yeah.
So you're basically like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You're real close to 6'1", 188.
Yep.
Zuckerberg, 5'7", 154. That's Valdez.
Yeah.
I mean, am I taking Valdez over Stalker in the cage? No shot. Money's on Stalker.
Well, if Valdez has mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu background training, then yes, I would take him over me.
Okay.
No.
And actually, I'm giving Valdez too much credit. He damn sure isn't 154.
No. The only thing that helps Elon Musk right now is the fact that he has, we don't know if and when this is ever going to happen.
Right.
He's going to train like a mental patient for however long that is. He's going to hire all the best people to make sure that he can, whatever Zuckerberg is doing, he tops that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing but if the fight were to be held right now,
right,
then I would put my money on Zuckerberg.
Okay, that's fair. But I got to think if they officially come to an agreement and they get a deal signed for this fight, I got to imagine at least 3 months of a build-up and preparing for the fight as well. Which, by the way, there are odds as to how you could actually watch this fight and who will broadcast it. Twitter and Facebook in a joint venture is the odds-on favorite to stream it on their apps and their networks at -300, ESPN at +400, NBC at +1,000, Fox at +1,400, followed by ABC and Disney at 20-1, Netflix at 25-1, Google or YouTube at 33-1. So my guess is you might as well just do it on Twitter and Facebook, because then these two owners wouldn't have to spend any sort of money to get the broadcast rights secured.
Isn't it cool, though, that these two billionaires, they're going to do this for charity? I mean, that's the nice part of it.
Right. And then the sinister part of it is I want Elon to cave Zuckerberg's face in. But that's just me. And that's violent. And I apologize.
So violent.
But I'll be rooting for it. And then lastly, how about this? We talked about some of these companies that have... What's wrong?
Oh, ex-pro kickboxer Andrew Tate is going to train Elon Musk.
Wasn't Andrew Tate the one that was arrested and locked up over... I was
just going to say that.
Yeah.
Over sex trafficking or whatever?
This is USA Today.
If I'm Andrew Tate, I might want to lay low like Hunter Biden is right now. Yeah,
he says he wants to train Elon.
Okay. That was a weird story, by
Sorry.
the way. No, that's fine. That's advantage Elon then. I mean, if you want to get trained by that guy who's kind of a creep, but there you go. So how about this with Disney? They have lost nearly $900 million at the box office over their last 8 movies. We talked about, how Pride Month has kind of blown up in some of these companies' faces over the last 3.5 weeks, and even longer than that, really, from Bud Light to Target on down the list. Well, the Walt Disney Company now has lost nearly $900 million on recent movies, according to Hollywood Analysis. They have rolled out these following movies. Now, truth be told, I've never seen any of these. I think my daughters have only seen one. They went to see the Little Mermaid remake. But the following have been out, and they've cost this company, Disney that is, almost $1 billion. Lightyear, Thor, Love and Thunder, Strange World, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Little Mermaid, and Elemental. And according to Valiant Renegade, the 8 movies cost Disney $2.75 billion to produce, but have only brought in $1.86 billion in revenue for Disney, totaling a loss of $890 million. Strange World lost $197 million, and Lightyear lost $106 million, according to Deadline.com. Recent Disney movies have embraced these, woke storylines. Strange World apparently features a gay romance. The animated children's Lightyear has a lesbian kiss in it. I should probably check that out. Elemental talks about the evils of xenophobia and boasts the entertainment company's first non-binary character. So what have we learned from Disney's failures here? I think the big takeaway is this, in line with what we've talked about with these other companies. And I think I even mentioned this earlier in the big take this morning. Disney and sex doesn't sell. Again, keep Disney with what they've been. Family, friendly, wholesome entertainment. You're taking your kid to the movies. The kid isn't asking for it. The parent isn't asking for it. I don't understand why you need to go down these roads and shoot yourself in the foot. And Disney has done just that. And remember, this is a company that changed CEOs. If I recall correctly, Bob Iger was replaced by Bob Chapek, and then Iger returned in a second stint as Disney CEO last November, which actually has kind of there's a little odd symmetry here between Disney and CNN if you think about it, because there's a story out there now that Jeff Zucker, the ex-CEO of CNN, who had to go, they bring in Chris Licht, he gets whacked in 13 months, and now there's a report out there that Jeff Zucker might come back in and buy CNN and be the owner of the company, which would be like the ultimate bizarre plot storyline twist, because he ran the company into the ground, and now with their ratings as low as they are and them apparently being up for sale, he might swoop back in and purchase them. And I'd be willing to bet he doesn't change up his blueprint at all, and he'll go back to the same thing that failed him the first time. So very interesting when you think about these companies with their strategic restructuring as they continue to dive deeper into the abyss. Disney, CNN, just rock bottom right now. 855-839-1210. We will get to the morning mystery movie clip coming up in a few minutes, but first, let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 9:17.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
Big 3 at 9 is sponsored by Hint Water. Number 1, more alerts and warnings with some ominous weather. Could be violent today as far as possible tornadoes, high winds, rain, flood warnings. So watch out today as you make your way through the day. And the worst of it could be is they're tracking in the NBC 10 First Alert forecast, tracking the severe storms, damaging winds. Some of the worst of it could hit around 6 o'clock this evening as many people are on the roadways. So you want to make sure that you check that out. By the way, when we talk about the upcoming 4th of July week, it's Wawa Welcome America, and it's a Rocky movie night. So we wanted to bring that forth for you as well as we talk about Rocky. Did you hear that there may exist another Rocky statue?
Okay,
So
I thought you were going to say there's another Rocky movie. I'm all Rocky movied out, by the way.
Why?
It's just enough. These Apollo movies. It's just terrible. Creed and stop.
Well, Wawa Welcome America and the Philadelphia Film Society, they teamed up to have this free screening of Rocky highlights, and it's today. But there's another Rocky story that Sylvester Stallone had gone viral because I guess he's, doing some downsizing or whatever. And I never knew this. There's another Rocky statue.
Where at?
Sylvester Stallone, I guess, has it.
Oh, he's got like his own statue
His
of himself?
own, yeah, I guess there were
That's
two.
not narcissistic, is it? To have a statue of yourself?
That'd be pretty cool.
O.J. Simpson had one of those in his backyard in Brentwood, California, which just
How'd that work
screams
out for
ego.
him? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. It's I just found that fascinating because, of course, the famous Rocky statue here, and they moved it from the top of the art museum steps now to the bottom.
Do we know how big the replica that he has?
It sounds like it's
same size.
It's the same size. It's amazing.
well.
How much would you pay for that if he's going to downsize and get rid of some clutter?
What do you think that would go for?
Oh my gosh.
It's easily 7 figures, right? Somebody out there with stupid money would easily, if somebody's willing to give up $250,000 to go in a sub and go down to see the Titanic, I got to think somebody could get 7 figures for the Rocky statue.
I think it would go for $50 million.
$50 million.
I'll go under.
$50 million.
I'll go under $50 million, but definitely
I
7
think
figures.
some wealthy guy.
$50 million for a statue.
By the way, if you spend $50 million on a Rocky statue,
If you got like funny money, if you got like
Yeah.
a ton of money, $50
Yeah.
million.
Where did you pull that number?
I don't know. I just made it up.
$100 billion.
But so I guess the story was, and it was the Wall Street Journal, the 76-year-old actor Sylvester Stallone says that the iconic statue from his hit 1976 film Rocky, he was selling his plush California mansion. And so Adele, the Grammy-winning singer, well, she bought it for $58 million, but she wanted to include the poolside statue.
Okay.
So the total was $58 million that she bought the mansion,
Mhm.
but she said she wanted the statue.
Okay.
It's like, if you sell your house and then you go, well, you have to keep the, the sconces in the living room or something.
Sconces.
But Adele wanted I love Adele for that she wanted the Rocky statue.
Adele and I both with the same voice surgeon, by the way.
Really?
Little tidbit there for you.
Very cool.
Uh-huh.
Dang.
How about that?
All right. Are we ready for what's the number 3 in our big 3? I guess I'll choose. Did you hear about this cruise ship where the storm hit and the video is amazing and you see everything flying around? It's a cruise ship. People putting this out there.
We actually have the video, Daniel. Are you
You
able to
have
put
it?
the video up on YouTube?
It didn't sync, did it?
Royal Caribbean, no. It was still in port, wasn't it? Because it was going to the Bahamas from Florida. It was back in like June 16th or something like that. The video is crazy. This is another reason why.
There it is.
Look at that. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, if you're watching right now on YouTube, you can see the video of just everybody's baggage flying all over the place, and people are like, look at that. This looks like hell on earth.
Well, they do say bags fly for free. That's Southwest. I'm sorry.
Look at people are being taken by this storm. There's debris flying everywhere. What a crazy video this is.
I'm very much anti-cruise, as I've said for a while.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT if you want to see the video that we're playing right now. People are like,
some chick in her underwear.
They're in their swimsuits.
Oh yeah.
Now nobody was injured, and even though it looks kind of crazy, it's out of a Florida port.
Yeah.
So they were still docked, and this wind gust comes out there, and no, they're not out at sea. But ultimately, why don't they just bolt down the lawn chairs?
How about the guy that's dragging his butt across the ground? He's like walking on his ass. He looks like a dog. He looks like a dog who's scooting across the carpet.
Yeah, right. Well, that's to get an itch.
Trapped out at sea with a bunch of other animals.
No, they weren't trapped at sea. It was still, if you're out at sea, you know what's coming, and they're really good.
I hate cruises.
I love cruises.
If the NAACP gets wind of this, they're going to issue another travel advisory for Florida.
Well, luckily, nobody was injured, not even a minor injury. Everybody was fine. I just think they have to secure their lawn chairs a little, because it's mostly those lounges.
Yeah.
Right?
Those chaise lounge chairs.
Chaise lounges.
Yeah.
Well, I bring that forth because we got to remember we're going to get some high winds.
Oh, boy.
And possibly a tornado or two.
Awesome.
So be safe. We are sponsored appropriately by Hint Water. Delicious fruit-infused water. 0 sweeteners, 0 calories. Hint's 25 flavors include blackberry, coconut, blueberry lemon is my favorite. In stores or at hintwater.com. Thank you, Hint Water, for sponsoring our Big 3 at 9.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 9:25. Let's get to our morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I am Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, your senior drill instructor. From now on, you will speak only when spoken to. And the first and last words out of your filthy sewers will be, sir. Do you understand that?
Sir, yes, sir.
I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
Sir, yes, sir.
If you ladies leave my island, if you survive recruit training, you will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death praying for war. But until that day, you are pukes. You are the lowest form of life on earth. You are not even human beings.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
The great prize for today, much like last week, a 4-pack of tickets to watch the 4th of July fireworks aboard the Battleship New Jersey in Camden, New Jersey.
Whoa! For
more information and to get tickets if you don't win them today, battleshipnewjersey.org. You call our 12, correct answer, 855-839-1210 to that movie clip, and you get the 4-pack of tickets. And by the way, that quote there in that movie, when you call somebody a puke, totally underrated insult.
100%.
Yeah, you're a little puke.
Yeah, I love that insult.
It's like a Trumpian insult. I could see Trump saying that to Daniel Valdez as if he saw him at like a rally. I think you're a little puke. You're a little puke, Valdez. But I like you. You got heart. You're a tough kid. All right, caller 12, 855-839-1210. See if we get our winner when we come back. Kayal and Company on a Monday.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Tired of wasting your money on testosterone booster products that just don't work? We don't blame you. That's why Nugenix Total T lets you try before you buy. Just text ENERGY to 369-369 to claim your complimentary sample. Why have millions of men already trusted Nugenix for a man-boosting increase in their testosterone levels? Well, nothing else is like it. It contains testofen, a patented key ingredient shown to work. Nugenix Total T boosts free and total testosterone levels to help you feel better at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand and #1 at GNC and #1 at Walmart. But don't take our word for it. Try before you buy. If it works, keep using it. If not, keep the sample. You've got nothing to lose, but you could gain energy, muscle, drive, even more passion. Text ENERGY to 369-369. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ENERGY to 369-369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hurts, gives it off, and keeps it, and rolls down to the 2, and is he in? Yes! He let it go, and it's intercepted. It's picked off by Josh Sweat. 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Josh Sweat! Deep down the far side, and it is A.J. Brown again! Another touchdown! He steps up, he's hit, he fumbles the football, but I think he has it. Nope. Now the Eagles have it! That'll be the game! He breaks away at the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Miles Sanders, touchdown! Wow. He is firing the football, and it is caught by DeVonta Smith! Great catch! Attention, air traffic control. A flock of Eagles is heading to Arizona.
Ah, sweet memories. Last season was so much fun, and I believe this season will be even better. If you want your business to be part of this season's Eagles Radio Network highlight reel, email advertise@94wip.com for information. More great action is quickly approaching.
You know, we all need a good laugh, right? Hey, it's Rich Isaioli. That's why I am co-hosting Comedy Night at Parks Casino Club 360 this coming Thursday, June 29th at 8 p.m. We'll have a lot of fun. It's Joe Conklin's Comedy Night, featuring Joey Cola and Gary DeLana. And the best part, tickets are just $20 and includes your first drink. But this show will sell out. They always do, especially when I'm there. Doors open at 7 p.m. The show starts at 8. Go to parkscasino.com/comedy, Thursday, June 29th. Must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. See you there.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June means Men's Health Month for Rescue Natural Supplements. We all know how demanding life can be. When juggling work, family, and personal commitments, you need energy and optimal health. So fear not, because Rescue Men's Health Supplements are here for you. For the month of June, save 50% on the products that guys need most. That's half off on testosterone boosters, prostate support, and more. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate. No code is needed to get 50% off. Just call a Rescue Product Consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. res-q.com. It's not just your physical health. Men's supplements can help your mental well-being too. Again, no code is needed to get 50% off on Rescue Men's Health favorites. Shop res-q.com today, res-q.com.
Phillies baseball is in full swing.
It's a 3-run home run for Alec Bohm and a 6 RBI night.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
The ball bobbled. The Phillies win. Bryson Stott has won it.
Phillies baseball. Phillies announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
In the Wildwoods, you'll find plenty of shore.
Fishing at sunrise?
Sure. Shopping after lunch? Sure.
Ice cream for breakfast?
Sure.
How about free beaches?
Sure.
Great restaurants?
And nightlife?
Oh, for sure. With the best of the Jersey Shore all on one 5-mile island, you're sure to find everything you're looking for. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods. Start planning your stay now. Visit wildwoodsnj.com.
Yeah, I feel like there's a war being waged against our kids when you talk about those algorithms, the way they track kids and influence them. It's one of the many reasons, as a parent, as a mom, I love DuckDuckGo. Discovered them a couple years ago. I like the fact that they're not one of those West Coast companies that lurks in the dark. They're right from our area. And I've met some of the moms and dads and wonderful people who run DuckDuckGo, local people, just like us. I love that. If you don't know about DuckDuckGo, stop what you're doing. You got to check it out. DuckDuckGo, it's a browser, much like Chrome. It's private, and it blocks the trackers, and it works. So it comes with a DuckDuckGo private search, which is like Google, kinda, except that it's not creepy, and it does not spy on your searches or track your kids with these nutty algorithms, which I hate. It's available on Android, iOS, Windows, and Mac. So here's the thing. Just download DuckDuckGo. Download it today. I mean, download it this hour, this minute. It's free. It's in the App Store. You can always visit DuckDuckGo.com. Here's a little bit about them. They're independent. I like this too. They're an independent internet privacy company. And it's really easy. If I can do it, and you know this about me, right? You could say this. If Dawn can do it, you can do it. It's easy. One download, DuckDuckGo keeps your searches and your browsing activity more private. It comes with email protection. They can keep your email more private too. So I have it on my phone, and then I have it on my computer too, like here at work. I go through DuckDuckGo. It's just as fast, just as good, all that good stuff, except that it's not tracking you and giving up all your information and giving up your privacy. People don't understand, I think you understand, how the product could be free, but it is free, right? And so that's just it. If you look up shoes, like I'll look up a dress that I want at Macy's, right, that I didn't get for my birthday. Yeah, will I get some dress ads right that minute? Yeah, of course. That's okay. But then throughout the day, my information is not being shared and sold and all that good stuff. And they're not tracking me constantly. By the way, DuckDuckGo is the #2 mobile search engine in the United States, UK, Canada, Australia, and so much more, with 3 billion private searches a month. Here's the thing. Those hidden third-party trackers lurking on 85% of the most popular websites, not here. This is your safe space. I could go on, but I won't. Just download it today. Do this. DuckDuckGo. You download it for free. It's easy in the App Store, or visit DuckDuckGo.com.
Calling on Sewell, New Jersey to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal and Company rolling on 9:35 Monday morning here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. About 5 minutes out from what's on the cut sheet part due. But right now, let's find out who our morning mystery movie clip winner is. I believe we have Jeannie in Aston with us. Jeannie, good morning. What was the movie clip we played for you about 10 minutes ago?
Good morning. It's Full Metal Jacket.
That is correct, Jeannie. Congratulations. Nice work out of you. 4-pack of tickets to watch the 4th of July fireworks aboard the Battleship in New Jersey. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You are
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for listening, and thank you for playing. We'll wrap it up this morning with these two stories, as this is the final week of Pride Month. And yesterday and this past weekend, two big stories that broke out in New York as well as Seattle. And I want to start with the first one in Seattle, as if you saw this going viral yesterday across social media, you had at a Seattle Pride event where there were naked men playing in the water fountains of what looks like some sort of like a little circle area down in like a town. You know, you've got buildings to the left and the right, and like a 4-way intersection, and kind of like a where you would gather for a festival or a celebration. Who knows what they have there normally when it's not closed off. And they were dancing around naked, and children are present. The genitalia fully exposed. And here's my issue with this. And this is not an anti-pride thing or an anti-drag thing. I've been very consistent with this. You want to do this as an adult with other adults in adult settings, knock yourself out. Have a blast. Now, where I find there to be two issues here. Number one, and maybe I already know the answers to this question, Do they not enforce the law in Seattle? Well, the answer is in most big blue cities, they don't enforce many laws anymore at all. But I would imagine there's got to be indecent exposure laws. I don't know what their ordinances specifically say, but I guess those will not be enforced at a Pride event. And then secondly, in front of children. And this might actually be, and I'll be fair about this, I won't even necessarily put this on the performers. I would put this on the parents that brought their children to it, especially if there is the expectation that you're going to see uncovered human body parts that normally you don't see in public, at least legally. So that was the first thing that stood out to me when it comes to Seattle. And then in New York, they had a drag, what they will call the Drag March, New York City's annual Drag March, which occurred on Friday, heading into the weekend. And that apparently sparked up a lot of outrage because they were chanting the following. Now, this to me is being antagonistic, and I don't know if this was sarcasm or if this was the truth, but when you are at the annual drag march for LGBTQ activism and you're going down through Manhattan in a park and you're chanting the following, I could see why this ticks off a lot of people. We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. Seriously? So this goes back to the big take, because everything on this show eventually comes full circle, where we talked about some of this about parents this morning. If you are a parent and you are bothered by that, you're the bad guy. That's where we are at in society today. We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. And Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted the following: this movement grooms minors to have mastectomies and castration and fuels a multi-billion-dollar medical industry. Some would say child abuse. My consistent belief is if you want to have a body part removed or a fake body part added, knock yourself out if you're an adult. I don't think it should be permitted for children. I think it's a mental health issue. But again, we talked earlier about those antagonists showing up at a pro-America rally. We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. Like, it's almost like you're asking for trouble. Like, why would you say that? As somebody who I feel like common sense is right here at the tip of my brain for me. Like, I don't know. I don't think I would say anything about coming for somebody else's children at an event like this when you claim to be, oh, no, we're not into this, that, or the other thing. Well, you might be just full of crap when you say that, but that's not a good look for you. So figured we would share those two stories. I don't know if you saw the one in Seattle. I mean, there's guys like legitimately running around butt naked.
Well, apparently, and I'm not making this up, nudity was made legal in the state of Washington in the case of Seattle v. Johnson.
Oh, so there's precedent. Okay.
Johnson.
So I could go to Seattle, get a cup of coffee, and just walk around 5th and Johnson Street naked?
And show your Johnson.
Show my Johnson.
It's, seriously, I guess there was a challenge, and I
mean, that would never fly in my city, I'll tell you that right now.
I assume that they have decent, I don't know. I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Is there like indecent exposure laws? I mean, I don't know how that obviously, is a conflict versus, hey, you can walk around naked. Well, then if you can walk around naked, then it's not indecent exposure, is it?
I mean, usually I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, in other words, you can have nude beaches or designated areas, I guess.
Yeah. I'm fine with nude beaches. You have a designated area. I'm assuming you got to be an adult to be on a nude beach, right?
Usually.
Yeah. I don't think 12-year-olds are just running around willy-nilly.
So usually they have some law and order, even in Seattle, I would hope.
Yeah.
But to your point, I just don't think that these guys running around in front of kids, I just can't imagine that they represent the honest to goodness, regular, like, lesbian and gay community.
No, of course not.
You know what I mean?
There's like a total separation here between like the LGB and then all this like eccentric stuff, which again, I don't care. You want to do that as an adult, that's great. But when there's children there, and it's probably more of an indictment on the parents that brought their children to it.
Yeah.
Whether they knowingly did it or unknowingly, it's like, okay, if you do it unknowingly, then you probably should just pack up and leave. And if you did it knowingly, then, I don't know, as a parent, I think it's kind of creepy, but I don't tell people how to parent their children. I just tell you what I would do. So there you go. All right. 9:42, let's get to What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2.
What's on the Cut Sheet?
Part 2. What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2, sponsored by United Tire. Celebrating our independence from taxation is at our nation's core. Right now, United Tire and Service is doing just that. You will pay no tax and save big instantly when you buy any 4 tires. Get all the rebates and the best pricing anywhere. Visit UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United. Thank you, United Tire, for sponsoring What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2. UnitedTire.com. It's almost like this copy is speaking right to this audience. UnitedTire.com. Nancy Pelosi sat down inside with Jen Psaki. Inside with Jen Psaki. A few clips here. Actually, no. Let's start with Pelosi. She was at an event with Joe Biden, and she said she had to leave there because, speaking of pride, she had to go flip the switch to light up the Bay Bridge in gay pride colors.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, apparently she's there flipping the switch.
Flipping the switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nancy Pelosi over the weekend.
I have to leave as soon as the president finishes because I'm getting on the plane going to San Francisco. Woo! When I land, it'll be just dark enough for me to flip the switch. Thank you.
That too.
Just dark enough for me to flip the switch to have the Bay Bridge lit up in gay pride colors.
Luckily,
it has to be dark enough.
Yeah, it has to be dark enough. Luckily, nothing else happening in San Francisco.
Right.
So she's good because nothing else happening in San Francisco that she needs to be present for.
She's got to go flip the skit. I think that's what they do on SNL. They flip the skit from time to time. Yeah, not that there's like homelessness or all kinds of ridiculous stuff as far as businesses leaving San Francisco. Yeah, but yeah, go flip the switch.
Yeah, just go flip the switch to light up the Bay Bridge. And by the way, I mean, we know San Francisco is pro-gay rights.
Yes.
I mean, they've been like that since Harvey Milk.
Right.
I mean, like, stop.
They're one of the leading communities in this country for that.
And they don't need to show, like, people know that. People know that.
And as Nancy would say, please don't bother me with that.
She was also inside with Jen Psaki, where she endorses Supreme Court term limits. And I wanted to get your opinions on Supreme Court term limits.
I want to talk about the Supreme Court because this week ProPublica is out with a new report about Justice Alito failing to disclose gifts, including a luxury trip with a billionaire donor with business before the Supreme Court. This is after the reporting we've seen surrounding Justice Thomas and his wife, and you've been quite outspoken about the fact that there's no ethics requirements, essentially, not a baseline of that. There's also a new Quinnipiac poll that shows public approval of the court has dropped to 30%, which is shockingly low, an all-time low. Are you concerned the Supreme Court has lost its legitimacy?
Well, I think they have the opportunity to write some ethics rules for themselves. And that's what the Chief Justice has said. We can do it ourselves. I see no action being taken there, but nonetheless, that's what they have said. But I give credit to Senator Whitehouse because with the majority in the Senate, he is able in his committee to point out what needs to be done to have integrity on the court. Integrity on the court. It's shameful how Justice Thomas and Justice Alito have been so cavalier about their violations of what would be expected of a justice of the Supreme Court. Here we have a body chosen for life, never have to run for office, nominated, confirmed for life, with no accountability for their ethics behavior. 30% seems high.
Do you think that there should be changes, reforms to the Supreme Court, term limits, an expansion?
Yeah, I don't know about the expansion. I mean, it's been over 150 years since we've had an expansion of the court. It was in the time of Lincoln that it went up to 9.
She remembers that time
the subject
well.
of
She
whether
was
that
15.
should happen is a discussion. And it's not a rallying cry, but it's a discussion. The president formed a commission. They did not recommend expansion of the court. That shouldn't be the end of it. But there certainly should be term limits. There certainly be term limits. And if nothing else, there should be some ethical rules that would be followed. I had one justice tell me he thought the other justices were people of integrity, like a Clarence Thomas. I'm like, get out of here.
Get out of here. You know, Nancy Pelosi talking about term limits is the equivalent of Hunter Biden talking about the dangers of crack pipes on your teeth.
Thank you.
Are you kidding me right now?
How much money did her husband make off of, just really lucky investments?
Insider trading, allegedly, or presumably.
But for her to talk about term limits, how long has she been there?
150 years.
I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi's net worth today as opposed to what it was when she entered the political spectrum. And oh, by the way, Nancy, what are your thoughts about when the Supreme Court had more liberal justices on it? Were you interested in term limits then?
No.
No.
Certainly wasn't.
Okay.
I actually wanted to bring up this. I had this cut last week, but I never got to it. The media coverage that we were a part of it here as well with the missing Titanic sub.
Yeah.
Titan.
That compared to the sinking of the migrant ship in Greece that killed like 700 people, was very one-sided. And Obama brought this up, and I want to get your opinions on if he's onto something. I mean, he frames it as inequality, which is just ridiculous. Jesus. I think it's all about views and what people are fascinated by, and not like that's where the news coverage goes. But let him frame this, and then you can decide.
Our democracy is not going to be healthy with the levels of inequality that we've seen generated from globalization, automation, the decline in unions, obscene inequality. You think about news of the day. Generally, we're not talking about news of the day, but right now we have 24-hour coverage, and I understand it, of this submarine, the submersible, that tragically is right now lost at the bottom of the sea. At the same time, right here, just off the coast of Greece, we had 700 people dead, 700 migrants who were apparently being smuggled into here, and it's made news, but it's not dominating in the same way. And in some ways, it's indicative of the degree to which people's life chances have grown so disparate. It's very hard to sustain a democracy when you have such massive concentrations of wealth. And so,
let me explain something to Mr. Obama and also to the audience. Like, the media discusses and talks about the stories that ultimately get the most ratings. Like, that's the way it works. Like, we know what works, what doesn't work. That's why we talk about it. The mainstream media, same thing. Any other media outlet. So, look, I don't understand the infatuation 111 years since the Titanic went down, that it's still like this nostalgic mystique and lore to it. As I said last week, you're never going to... You couldn't pay me $250,000 to go down and see the Titanic, much less give up $250,000, of which I'll probably never have, to go down. But it is very fascinating to me the amount of people that when you hear the word Titanic, and I'm guilty of this as well from like a movie standpoint or a documentary standpoint, not to the point of getting in a submersible, but the infatuation with a boat that's been at the bottom of an ocean for over 100 years. It's a freaking boat. It's a boat. It's gone.
Where's Don Lemon been?
At home washing his tights.
Fired CNN anchor Don Lemon sat down for his first TV interview since his departure from the network. Lemon visited Memphis, Tennessee to deliver a speech before the Memphis chapter of the NAACP and gave an interview to the local ABC affiliate ABC 24.
Okay.
He did not give any specifics surrounding his dismissal from the network, but spoke more broadly about his journalistic principles. Would you guys like to hear Don Lemon, the journalistic principles?
Oh, man.
Here we go. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm Don Lemon, and you will respect me. You will watch me.
I don't believe in platforming liars and bigots and, insurrectionists and election deniers and putting them on the same footing as people who are telling the truth, people who are fighting for what's right, people who are abiding by the Constitution. I think that would be a dereliction of journalistic duties to do those sorts of things. That is what has gotten me to this point, and that is what is going to carry me forward.
Being true to himself is what Lemon says allows him to sleep at night.
To know that I am doing the right thing, that I am standing up and abiding by the Constitution, which my profession demands that I do because we are listed in the First Amendment of the Constitution, which is freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of the press.
As for what lies ahead for Lemon, well, he says he's a man of faith.
I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to let other people's timeline influence me. I know people say, I miss you on television. What is your next move?
Nobody says that.
No.
I'm figuring that out. I don't have to be in a rush. I think sometimes people rush to make decisions and they end up making the wrong decisions.
Lemon, who published his memoir, Transparent, in 2011, and This Is the Fire in 2021, says he'll spend the next several months enjoying time with his fiancée, real estate agent Tim Malone, and their dogs, leaning into life.
And I'm not worried at all. People are concerned about me and more worried about me than I am about myself. I'm fine. Someone is looking out for me.
There you go.
Well, number one, I don't think anybody misses you. I don't think anybody is really concerned about your next career venture. Although at this point, he might be relegated to local TV in Memphis, it seems like.
Yeah, for people watching right now on YouTube, he has this facial hair happening. Yeah. So
a lot of those TV guys do that, right?
I'm sorry, not Don Stenson. Don Lemon. Well, I'm sorry, Don. I almost confused you two there for a second. As this has this weird beard going on there. So.
A lot of those TV guys, when they go, they take a little sabbatical. I've noticed this with radio people too. All of a sudden they start for the clean-shaven guy, presentation-wise. All of a sudden they start going scruffy.
Yep.
Like I've always got a scruff going.
You do,
because I look awful without a beard. But Don Lemon, how about that? He's a constitutionalist. He's a First Amendment absolutist, and his journalistic integrity has got him to where he is now.
Yep.
I would actually say low ratings and treating women like garbage has gotten you to where you are, but. That's just my view.
Yeah. All right.
That'll do it. Let's find out what's on tap for the Dawn Show in just about 6 minutes.
Name in Philadelphia among those. And we'll update you on everything that's going on as far as Philadelphia, the breaking news of the day, the politics of the day. We've got some Donald J. Trump news as well. It's all coming up.
All right, Dawn Show at 10 o'clock as we wrap it up here on a Monday morning with Who Won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
Lebo wins Twitter. He says 0.05% of the population trying to remain relevant and in the news by being over the top, talking about the gay pride parade or the LGBTQ parade or whatever it is.
All right. That'll do it for today. Have a great rest of your Monday. Stay tuned. The Dawn Show is coming up next, and we will talk to you tomorrow morning at 6.
Good night, everybody.
Chapman.
Yeah, because I love the Chapman family.